know in many constituencies, including mine. So I think that is an issue that the ministry needs to pick up.
The MP for Kwanza, just give one quick rider and then, of course, the MP for Nyeri Town.
Yeah.
Then we go to the next question. Proceed.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me the chance. First and foremost, I think you've done the capitation. Minister, you, I think about a year now old in the ministry. I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the ministry came up with this program of TVET. And from what I'm seeing, you've actually been giving out money. We are expecting that this can be done to be able to help our youth to be able to get jobs, what have you. I'm stuck up in my constituency. TVET has not been given the funds from their ministry. I contributed my bit from NGCDF, and up to now, I think there's a problem in the ministry. Lastly, very important, can you, as a ministry, give directives to TSC so that, Mr. Speaker, we have youths that finished school and graduated almost from 2011 up to now. Why don't you give directive to the TSC to employ the youth that actually graduated much earlier?
Fair enough.
And then now there's nothing.
You have asked your question. Madenge? Yours is a point of order. Relax.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've heard the minister say that they've not had funds for infrastructure, but this year they got some money. Mr. Speaker, there's a program that the ministry is running known as Expansion of Infrastructure at the Secondary School Education Equity and Quality Improvement Program. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to know the criteria that the ministry has used in identifying and actually not identifying, in excluding the schools and the constituencies that have not benefited. Mr. Speaker, for example, in Nyeri, despite Nyeri Town constituency having day schools in what were the former colonial villages, which are pockets of poverty, and also in the slums of Nyeri Town, none of the schools, the day schools in Nyeri Town, have been included in this program. I think this is causing disparity. One more question, Mr. Speaker, on the issues of teachers' salaries and promotions. Mr. Speaker, the ministry, using TSC, did some regrading of job groups. And unlike what we have seen in the past, some job groups were merged, unlike the norm, which has resulted in the stagnation of teachers under job group C1, C2, or C2, C3. Why is the ministry having two grading schemes for salaries for teachers? The grading schemes for personnel employed by TSC is different than the one for teachers working in schools.
Yes. Why didn't you file that question so that the minister can come prepared for this question? Honorable members, I think we better be very serious with our business here. That's why you're called order. Yes, are you on a point of order? The Honorable, yes, you're on a point of order. What's your point of order?
Speaker, yesterday when we were in the House, and I think it's Honorable Bondonya who raised the issue, and there was a suggestion that when the CS comes here, we offer these suggestions to him so that when he goes back to the office, he can look at it and consider.
So what's your suggestion?
That instead of these protracted tussles between the students and the principals, why can Kenya National Examination Council send the result slip directly to the students? Just like e-citizen, birth certificate, you don't have to go through a place where you were born to get a birth certificate, so that even if your mother left a bill there, the certificate is held. Why can't you consider by next year the same straight? Thank you.
I think this question, Raso, you're the last one, and then we'll go to the next question. Yes, what is your...
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in his response to the question by Honorable Mother, the CS talked about the problem of having teachers' shortages. I want to put to the minister, why has it taken almost 8 months for you to approve Marsabit Teachers Training College, when actually you will be able to train more teachers and try to fill in the gaps? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Russell, seasoned civil servant who rose to the ranks and became a senior military officer. Why didn't you ask that question? This guy would have, the minister would have come, the CS would have come prepared with a comprehensive answer for you. And that's why we call this riders. Actually, we're trying to mask the issue of saying joy riders. You know what I mean? So let's be serious with our business and let members of parliament file questions that are specific and let the minister come ready to answer that. Honorable Mwenje, in appreciation of the times I served in this parliament with your dad, I'm going to allow you, although you came very late. Please give him so he asks the question, the last question, and then the minister responds.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for even that honor. My question will be just very simple and straightforward, Honorable Speaker. The Cabinet Secretary had requested him to deploy education officers to the new sub-counties, especially in Nairobi, and I even wrote a letter to him. I hope he can give me a response on the status of deploying those new sub-county officers within Nairobi County. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, you can answer that, but do not feel, or rather, don't take it obligated to answer a question that essentially was not part of the original question. If you can answer it, it's your pleasure. If not, then we'll always give another date or another time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Marsabit Teachers Training College, I'll find out why it took long, but the shortage is not because of lack of teachers. It's because of lack of resources. That is, we have to have a budget before we employ the teachers, because you can't employ them without a budget. And we'll discuss with TSC to ensure that that is done, because it is a constitutional, an independent constitutional commission in charge of teachers and teaching resources. But we have had discussion with them, and we've agreed that in this new team that they are employing, they employ the people who qualified earlier, the people who are almost 45 years old and above, who qualified many years ago and have not gotten a job. So that is the policy that they are going to use. With respect to the issue of Nyeri, the KPIL program has a selection criteria, and we shall be able to endeavor to provide that to Honorable Madenge to confirm whether and to see which schools from Nyeri have or are not there, so that we can be able to be on the same line. The suggestion of NEC result slip being sent to the students, that is an excellent idea, and we've also thought about sending the results, the next results maybe to our sub-county offices, so that they are collected from there with copies or with a register sent to the schools to confirm that those certificates have been picked by the students, so that there is no challenge or there's no situation where the students are suffering or being able to be told that they have to pay many things before they receive. Deployment of education officers to the newly created sub-counties. We are working towards posting the DDC to those sub-counties from the ministry. Then we will be able to do the identification, have those officers done. That exercise is actually ongoing. The analysis is being done, and the resources that are attended to it, so that they can be there. We anticipate that by January, all the officers will be in place. Thank you.
Fair enough. Honorable, are you on a point of order?
Oh, sorry. On Ferdinand's question, I know we've agonized over the Kwanzaa TVET institution, and we are really pushing to have the resources so that we can be able to provide for the TVETs that are required. In fact, the department requires 790 million to be able to allocate to the TVETs that have been started that require to be completed. So, but we are doing everything possible to get those resources to ensure that those institutions are completed, because you've already committed resources to them. So we are doing something about it, Honorable Wanyonyi.
What is your point of order, the MP for Yatta? What's out of order? Go to the next one.
Well, it's not a point of order, Mr. Speaker. I only have one question, which is actually a follow-up on what my colleagues have asked. It's in regards to the help disbursement, Mr. Speaker. There is actually prolonged delay in disbursement of help, and so many of our young students, particularly from poor families, are coming to our offices. So what is the ministry doing to mitigate the delays in disbursement of help? Because that's a major concern to many parents, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, if you wish to answer that, I will then give you, you can have a quick shot. If not, then it will be, the MP will have to be told to list that question himself, and then you.
Again, there might be a delay in the disbursement of help is because of the exchequer, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that the resources that come are disbursed as soon as possible to the students who have applied. So we are doing something in that space, and we continue working towards ensuring that our students, especially from the poor families, as you've indicated, do not suffer. So we keep following and working very closely with National Treasury for the resources to come, then they are disbursed to those students.
Honorable Nikala, I want to go to the next question. What is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister is really answering prepared questions very well, but one pattern is coming out, that what we see on the ground is different from what he knows. And he says, if you have any case, let us know, we'll investigate. Does it mean there is actually a disconnect between his office and what's happening on the ground?
What exactly?
One,
yes.
The children are going to school early. Honorable Ndonye said he saw them in Oyugis. I see them on Farasi Lane every time I leave at 5. Students have been sent home. When I was last week, I know about 3-4 schools where students were sent home. Certificates are being held. The minister has even given instructions. He's saying if there are specific cases. Mr. Speaker, what this means, that the information we see does not reach the minister. So my question is, does he investigate this, or are his officers not doing their work? Because what we see, he should get from their officers, his officers on the ground.
Yeah, the minister said that we will deal with this thing on a case-by-case basis, if I'm wrong, if I'm not wrong.
It's not possible.
Order, Honorable Nikal. Order. There's one school that Madam Donya talked about. Do you have other additional schools? Give the list to the minister so that he can take an action. But the rules, he said the rules are very clear. Children, order. Yeah, but do you have, how many cases do you have? Specific cases right now that you would, all these things are brought up as an afterthought. You never filed these questions in the first place. Ordinarily, order, honorable members. I was in this house and I chaired this and I remember the rules and I don't think it has changed much. You don't expect to stand on the floor of the house, mention a school, and expect the minister to have answers for you immediately. He has to go back to establish the facts and take an action. Yeah, what's your point of order, Honorable MP for Kwanza?
I had a very, the speakers just, Mr. Speaker, the ministers answered one, but one that I wanted him to do was to give directive to TSC so that the students, those who finished earlier,
directives by the minister are not given on the floor of the House.
Can he do something about it?
The executive, he has said he will look into it. He goes back and
anything.
you order. Honorable members, you have an opportunity to go and meet the minister in his own office. I was in the Ministry of Education, order. He's there most of the time. Ogamba is there almost all the time. I've tried to see him. I've seen him, but nonetheless, give the specific. Yeah, what's the burning you, Honorable Raso? Please don't use this opportunity to basically, write roughshod ministers. Give them their questions and expect answers, and there's a timeline, and then go back and get the answers. or file the answers, the questions, specific questions. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I believe when you sit on that chair, you don't have a vote. You must be a fair arbiter. What we are raising with the minister is things which are out there. We live in Nairobi, and children leave their homes at 4 in the morning to get to schools. What sort of learning takes place when a child who is 5, 6, 7 leave their homes at 4?
An arbiter, an independent arbiter, does not mean he has to agree with you. The minister has said the rules are clear. You have specific cases, go and talk to him about it.
Mr. Speaker, we are the representatives of the people. And that is why we must have our word, and you should hear us. And even if the minister has no answers, he has actually said that he will go away and investigate or give us answers.
Which he has said he's dealing with these things on a case-by-case basis. Yes, Donya, what's your point of order? Yes.
Sorry, the school-going children are in uniform.
Yes.
He doesn't need to investigate. He can even liaise with the Ministry of Interior. Police officers are everywhere. They arrest these children. They take them to the police station, and then you question the school. Mr. Speaker, I come from Kisii, where we have high rates of defilement. These children, they are on the road by 4:30. There is no electricity. We have so many bushes, meaning we have given out our girls just to the world. At 4:30, are they studying for PhD? It is the minister who should do a circular to schools, and it has to be a tough circular so that we say school begins at 8, the way he has stated. Then they will leave home at 6, which is good time when everyone can see. When they report to school, Mr. Speaker, and if they don't honor the circular, then something can be taken to those schools the way it has been before, when they were told the schools must have yellow buses. Everything was in order. I support Honorable Raso because Kisii, check the statistics. 60% are teen mothers. It's not something to smile about. Waziri is my uncle. He must act, he must be tough. And in fact, next week I'm going to Kisii. If I bring more photos of children going to school, something has to be done from Waziri's office. It is not a walk in the park. It is very bad for our young girls going to school at 4:30. Are they doing masters? Which education is this they are going to participate in, Mr. Speaker? It is really bad.
Minister, Cabinet Secretary, that the issue being raised, although not as a question by any of the members, but nonetheless, we are all parents, and she has a very emotional issue here when you talk about teen girls who are pregnant and the dangers that they face. Can you give a firm undertaking to this House that the matter is going to be dealt with as a matter of urgency? And that agency itself, including a public pronouncement from your office to all those schools, to the serious consequences of exposing children, pupils, and students to the kind of dangers that the members are talking about.
Just 1 minute.
On the same issue?
No, not on the same. 1 minute.
Honorable members, this is a house of rules. We can't sit there so that you keep on thinking of one question or the other, which you had not filed before. Okay, what is your question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. If us as members of National Assembly we see these kids, and including yourself, where does the CS live that he needs evidence from us? And I believe as he moves around, he also sees these kids, surely.
That matter has been raised by the ruling from the chair here, which was very firm. Cabinet Secretary, give a firm undertaking. Given the fact that there is this dangerous exposure of our young girls.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members, for that concern. We undertake as a ministry to work with all other government agencies to ensure that our circular on the school times are adhered to, and serious administrative action will be taken against any institution that violates it, so that we can bring that back our institutions to order with respect to the school time. So we undertake as a team, and we are going to make the pronouncement to ensure that even our officers on the ground are actively ensuring that that circular is adhered to.
Not just a circular, what everybody will see, including your pronouncement in the media.
Yes.
Because seriously, we
Yes,
cannot allow young girls to get exposed
action.
to
We
what.
undertake to do that. Thank you.
And in the meantime, I think every member of parliament who has issues like that in his backyard should come and report to the cabinet secretary, so that they're able to specifically go to certain institutions, send people there, carry out an exhaustive investigation, and bring to book people who are flouting the circulars and the rules of the ministry. Is that good enough? Honorable Russo, is that good enough? Or you want us to take the military there now?
Mr. Speaker, that is exactly what we are seeking from you, and also the minister. And he has made a good point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And next question. Next question, the Honorable Martha Wangari asking on behalf of the Honorable
Member
Omboko
for
Milemba.
Emuhaya. And Mr. Speaker, just to be on record, I support you in terms of accessibility, and I think this CS is one who tries to respond to members, even on phone, if you have a burning issue.
All the time.
Maybe in your direction, you can join with what Honorable Nyikal has spoken about, because these circulars are being treated just as pieces of paper. That is the problem, the implementation, so that we align with what the minister has said. Honorable Speaker, allow me to ask question number 11 of 2025 on behalf of Honorable Member for Emuhaya, Omboko Milemba, to the Cabinet Secretary. Could the Cabinet Secretary, one, provide details on the funds allocated by the Ministry of Education to public primary and secondary schools for co-curricular activities, specifically for participation in the National Ball Games and the Kenya Music Festival? Number two, state how much money is retained by the Ministry of Education from the capitation funds allocated for students on co-curricular activities, and explain why schools are fundraising for these co-curricular activities, yet they ought to receive capitation. Number three, outline the facilitation provided by the ministry to learners and teachers participating in regional and national competitions, such as the Kenya Music Festival. Number four, and finally, explain why the sub-county education officials require head teachers or principals of schools to remit part of the capitation funds to their offices, which are then channeled to the Ministry of Education for co-curricular activities, even though the funds are intended to directly facilitate students' participation in such activities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Minister, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Education allocates funds for co-curricular activities as part of the annual capitation for primary, junior, and secondary schools as follows. For primary schools, co-curricular funding is embedded within the free primary education vote, and with a portion dedicated to sports, games, and performing arts, that is drama and music festivals. The sum of Kenya shillings 76 per learner per year is earmarked for sports, games, and performing arts activities. For secondary schools, under the free secondary education program, Kenya shillings 1,500 per learner per year is allocated for co-curricular activities. This allocation covers a wide range of school games, sports, and performing arts. These funds are intended to support schools' co-curricular activities at the sub-county, county, regional, and national levels. The support is in the areas of transport, accommodation of participants and officials, water provision, medical services, and other championship and festival costs. Mr. Speaker, the funds, that is the 76 shillings and the Kenya shillings 1,500, are not assigned per discipline, for example, for ball games or music festivals. The schools themselves prepare budgets and allocations per the activity that they participate in. Mr. Speaker, it is also important to note that except for the transportation of learners, the national games and national music festivals are funded by the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund and thus do not depend on capitation. Mr. Speaker, on the second question, the ministry retains part of the capitation earmarked for co-curricular activities as follows. Kenya shillings per learner per year for primary school and Kenya shillings 500 per learner per year for secondary schools. These funds that are retained are consolidated and sent to the regional, county, and sub-county offices to run co-curricular activities at those levels. The balance of the amount is sent directly to the schools. However, it is important to note the following challenges that impact on resources. Number one, cost of national representation. When schools qualify for presentation to represent counties or regions at national competitions, the cost of participation often exceeds the standard capitation provided for because the funding formula is designed for average participation at the local and sub-county levels. National participation involves hiring of transport, boarding facilities, and logistical costs. Number two, delayed disbursements. Occasionally, delayed release of funds by National Treasury affects timely facilitation, leading to schools needing to bridge funding gaps through internal fundraising or support from the local stakeholders and other well-wishers. Number three, specialized events. Some competitions, e.g. music festivals, performances, involve things like costumes, instruments, and choreography. These require specialized resources beyond the standard per learner allocation. The ministry is reviewing funding guidelines to address these gaps and reduce reliance on support from other well-wishers as much as that may be necessary due to limited resources and higher requirements. Question 3, Mr. Speaker. The ministry facilitates learners and teachers participating in regional and national co-curricular activities as follows. Number one, transportation grants. Partial funding to support school teams to travel to competition venues. Number two, they provide for uniforms and costumes which are necessary, especially when competitions move beyond school levels. Extra funding becomes necessary to cater for these items. Number three, accommodation and meals. Through collaboration with host institutions, the ministry subsidizes boarding and meal costs. Number four, coordination and logistics. The ministry deploys officials to coordinate scheduling, officials, judging, and venue preparation for national events. Number five, training and workshops. Capacity building sessions are organized for teachers and adjudicators to ensure high quality performances and standardized assessment criteria. Number six, awards and recognition. The ministry provides trophies, certificates, and other recognition incentives for outstanding performances and to promote talent development. This facilitation is, however, dependent on budgetary availability and prioritization within the education sector funding. Mr. Speaker, for co-curricular activities this cycle, for example, the sub-counties received only Kenya shillings 155,000 for all the second-term activities. Counties received 505,000, while regions received an average of 1.2 million. This is grossly inadequate to run all the disciplines, primary ball games, special needs primary games, junior school ball games, secondary school games, special needs secondary games, and Kenya Music Festival, primary, junior, and secondary. The Western region, for instance, required a total of 219 buses to transport learners to Meru for this year's music festival. This implied approximately 13.1 million requirement for fuel alone at the cost of 60,000 shillings per bus. Going forward, Mr. Speaker, we are working towards mobilizing more resources for co-curricular activities through securing optimal capitation allocations. And at the same time, we are also working to achieve cost effectiveness in the management of co-curricular activities, including exploring, for example, digitizing some aspects of the co-curricular activities like virtual adjudication. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, the ministry's field officers are not authorized to demand remittances from schools' capitation funds for any purpose whatsoever. Capitation funds are intended to be managed at the school level per learner-centered activities including co-curricular participation. If there are any cases, again, of schools being compelled to remit such funds, the ministry would appreciate reports to inform appropriate and immediate action. The ministry's field officers may only be involved if schools, on their own volition, seek support in coordinating the pooling of resources to centralize logistics for cluster-based activities. Where this is done, the field officers are required to do so in a transparent and accountable manner and in conjunction with the schools themselves. I submit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on the last one, of course, to the CS, it wouldn't be official for them to complain openly, to say they have received money. But this matter was very heated on this floor. And that time, the music festivals, I think, were in Meru. And many of these schools were stranded. And that's why this question was raised, because they were coming to the MPs to help them fund fuel, food, or any other expenses. But my follow-up then would be, Mr. Speaker, if you give 76 shillings only and then retain 40 shillings per learner, then it means already you're giving 36 shillings only. And you have retained 500 from 1,500 from secondary schools. By all means, this money cannot be sufficient at all. So my follow-up then would be, when you say that you're working and reviewing funding guidelines, what exactly does the minister mean? Is it the issue of budgeting, or is it the issue of vote allocation, so that you are looking at how much goes to co-curricular activities? And maybe some of these issues should be done before we head to the next national competitions, because I know I've seen schools really struggle to fund sports, to fund music festivals, and even costumes. In fact, it has been easy because of the coalition with the NGCDF. I know, like in my sub-county, issue like costumes and uniforms for games, we did through NGCDF. So maybe the CS can clarify that. What does that exactly mean? And where does that money that is retained go exactly? And does it translate to go to the schools? Because schools still struggle. Thank you.
Yes, the Honorable MP Foyata.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is actually on hardship. In my constituency, I have teachers who receive hardship allowance. But then I also have other teachers who are working in TVETs, who are excluded from hardship allowance. So I want the ministry to tell us, how come some teachers receive hardship allowance and other teachers are deliberately excluded from hardship allowance? Thank you.
The Honorable Rasso. There again, you look at it, and if you're prepared for it, you answer that. If you're not prepared for it, then you give it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Cabinet Secretary for his response. And I think he confirms in the affirmative that there's teething problem in terms of funding for extracurricular activities. My question to him is, why don't we allow the schools or the regions to fund up to the regional level? And then at the national level, the ministry takes up that responsibility so that it doesn't cause the problems that we saw recently in Meru, where actually from this house, members were asked by the schools to contribute directly from their pockets. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, the Honorable Oyula of Butula is in the house.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Minister about this support to games and other activities. We have faced a lot of requests, and particularly when a school qualifies to go beyond the national, because we have some schools that participate in the East African games. Now, they come to a stage where they cannot even raise a cent, and yet they are expected to travel, say, to Uganda or to Tanzania. I've had some of my schools going across. So can the ministry, just as it has been raised by one honorable member, can the ministry take up such expenses so that we don't subject parents to raising funds that our school is going outside, we have qualified, we are going to Uganda or Tanzania, so that the ministry takes full responsibility of these schools
You made your point.
that represent us in the East African Games. Thank you.
The MP Oundo, Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's gratifying to note that the Cabinet Secretary is considering alternative means of adjudication so that we don't continue punishing our children, we don't continue burdening the parents to take kids all very far distances. Probably we could also make it as a policy, look for the more central place so that the cost of travel is shared equally. But Honorable Speaker, allow me to draw the Cabinet Secretary to a letter dated on 3rd October 2025, reference number MOE-HQS/3/6/125. Honorable Speaker, that letter is inviting some schools to go to Nakuru for some award ceremony for Mazingira Award. Yet, Honorable Speaker, the ministry is not providing transport. Yet there's no capitation, the parents have no money. So how do you want the children to get to Nakuru from Funyula?
Okay, fair enough.
How?
The Honorable Nyikal, Doctor. I see your name. It must have been an old one. Okay, Kasim. And then the Honorable Member at the back.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine will be very short, and it's the manner of the way that amount is split. That the school is given 36 shillings per student, while the ministry retains 40 shillings per student. As a mathematician, the ministry literally remains with over 50 million out of that budget. And in a school of 500 students on average, the school will get 18,000, hardly to hire a bus for one day, because the bus goes for around 15, and then fuel, and then driver's allowance and all this. Why can't it be that the ministry retains at most 20 shillings and about 56 shillings then goes to the school? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The MP.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Okay, my name is Kenneth Kazungu, MP Ganze. I have a question to the minister. I wanted...
you had not put your card in there, and you the back there, so
sorry.
But now I remember you, MP for Ganze.
I did not carry my card with me.
Proceed.
I apologize for that. So my question to the minister is, what plans the ministry have, especially to cushion students, primary school students in Ganze against the vagaries of hunger? Because we know Ganze is not covered by the lunch feeding program that is happening in other parts of this country. And of late, we have had cases where now there are some donors who have come in to try and assist, but we know that very soon, maybe the donors are going to stop because there are issues that came up. So I want to know from the minister if there are any plans within their ministry to make sure that our students are supported. Thank you.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the reason why the amounts are retained at the ministry and sent to the counties, it is to run the activities at the county levels and the regional levels, which are clustered because individual schools cannot run those activities. That's why this is retained. Perhaps with the suggestion of Honorable Kasim, we could relook at the figures that are retained so that they are rationalized. And as I said, the resources are not sufficient. There is always a shortfall. Even if we were to release the whole 1,500 or the whole 76, there's still going to be a shortfall. That's why we are looking at what are other options do we have to ensure that we utilize the resources or we optimize and reduce the actual costs that is expended during these co-curricular activities. So we are just looking at the whole scenario and interrogating the status as it is to get the best possible way to ensure that we do not lose the capacity of our students moving up the ladder to national because we don't have resources, but to ensure that they actually come without the suffering that they have been undergoing through because of lack of resources and reliance on well-wishers. So that is a discussion and is a review that is ongoing, and perhaps towards the analysis that I indicated on the numbers, etc. Once we are able to have the correct numbers, we might be able then to place a budget that is sufficient to cover for these particular activities in a manner that the ministry will take full control of the all activities to avoid a situation where the students or the head teachers are required to get support from other individuals to support. Mr. Speaker, as we head to that is what we are doing as we head to the next competition, because I know that issue arose here and I was called, I was away, but we managed to move to Meru with the PS at that point, and we managed to get some resources from the sports fund to support the students that were there so that we could complete those activities well without the students suffering. There were 140,000 students undertaking that activity in Meru that time. So it is a huge enterprise that requires very serious resources to be able to be undertaken. On the question of hardship areas, it is exactly what I had indicated earlier, that up to date, the hardship areas are gazetted by the Ministry of Public Service, but there are situations, as I indicated, that you'd find officers, for example, in the civil service, getting paid in the same building, getting paid hardship allowance, and another officer, either teacher or a TVET teacher, not getting. So this is the rationalization and the review that we indicated is being undertaken through the PCS's office so that we can have a rationalized and an acceptable status for areas that are hardship, so that if it's hardship area for civil servant X, it should be a hardship area for a teacher who is working there, it should be a hardship area for a nurse who is working there, so that because it is the same criteria that is used. So that rationalization is being done, and it will be sorted out. On the question of funding of these activities, it's what we are working on, but I would like to inform the House that for activities, co-curricular activities, both at the national and the regional level, that is the East African area, these activities are actually fully funded by the ministry through the sports fund. We work with the Ministry of Youth to get that fund. But this year there was a bit of a challenge because we had the Chan festival that was taking place, so the resources were a bit tight. But that activity in both national and regional is fully funded by the ministry and by the government. It's the members or the students or the schools that qualify are not required to contribute anything to that activity. Those resources are available. And I think I've covered the question of Butula, the Honorable Yula and Raso as well, because it was, I think, the same thing. The responsibility will continue remaining for those places for the ministry. The issue of the venues, the centralization of venues, the regulations require that the venues for national activities are rotated annually so that activities go to various places, and because of that, we are forced to transport people, transport the children and the officials from one region to another so that the host can benefit from those activities that are undertaken by those competitions that are national in nature. Mr. Speaker, on the question of the letter that you refer to, this is with respect to the First Lady's Mazingira Awards, which is actually fully funded. And transport is provided to each region, and the teacher coordinating the activities would be in the know of what is supposed to happen in that space. So once the letter goes, the activity is fully funded for that space. We do not, so that is the information we have, but should there be a situation where that was not the position because it's a specific question, Mr. Speaker, I would request that I get more time to get the details for it and submit an answer, a written answer through the Education Committee.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, and as we said earlier, it seems the Cabinet Secretary is underinformed. I don't want to say misinformed. He's underinformed. Frantically, even as today morning, the Sub-County Director of Education of Samia District told the head teacher and the board members, mobilize resources from the community to get yourselves to Nakuru. And here the minister says it's fully funded, including transport. So where's the information gap? Is it being deliberately underinformed, or is it a case the funds have been released for transport, his education office have withheld the funds, or as we say in my vernacular, they have eaten the money. Now they send the members of public, the schools, to go disturb members of public to fund as part of the continuous program of literally looting from members of the public. Cabinet Secretary. Hey, tell your guys to be serious. This is misappropriation, this is corruption. Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Minister?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, as I said, the position is that they are fully funded, so we'll get to the bottom of it and respond. I can't really give you the evidence from here. I need to go back and get the actual details because the activity is clear. Mr. Speaker, on the question by Kazungu on the plans that we have, currently we are undertaking a feeding program of our students up to 2.6 million with a plan to move that number to 10 million by 2030. But what we are doing as a ministry right now is rationalizing the various players in the market who are actually supporting and sponsoring school feeding programs in various areas of our country to ensure that we have a view on what they are doing and so that we can be sure that the students that they are supporting without them being required to undertake activities that are not in line with their beliefs or otherwise. So we are doing something in that space to increase the number because we have quite a large number of students or learners that we are not able to feed, but that is again because of budgetary limitations. But as we work towards harmonizing all the players in the sector, we believe that we'll be able to increase the number and rationalize it in a way that we can distribute the resources that are available to the areas that require them most, including your place here.
Next question, question number 70 by the Honorable Kimayo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to answer question number 70 of...
To answer or to ask? You ask or you answer the question?
Ask.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 70 of 2025. Could the Cabinet Secretary, one, explain the rationale behind the recent reduction in capitation funding for public primary and secondary schools and outline the measures the government is implementing to mitigate the impact of this decision on learners and parents. Two, provide the current capitation rates for both primary and secondary school students and indicate how these compare with previously established policy thresholds under the free primary education and free day secondary programs. Three, outline the actions taken to safeguard equitable access to quality education for all learners, particularly those from economically disadvantaged backgrounds in light of the capitation shortfall. Four, state the steps being taken by the ministry in collaboration with the National Treasury to mobilize additional resources or refute the education funding model to ensure sustainable financing of free and compulsory basic education in line with Article 53(1)(b) of the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to respond to the 4 questions as follows. Madam Speaker, firstly, we wish to clarify that there has not been a decision to reduce capitation funding for primary and secondary schools in Kenya. The approved capitation rate to be provided by government under the Free Primary Education Program is Kenya shillings 1,420 per learner per year for primary, and the approved rate for junior school is Kenya shillings 15,042 per learner per year, and the approved rate under the free day secondary education program is Kenya shillings 22,244 per learner per year. The government is committed to fulfilling its obligations under the Constitution to provide free and compulsory basic education. The ministry utilizes the budget that is approved by the National Assembly to provide capitation to learners. We wish to point out, Madam Speaker, however, that sometimes the ministry is compelled to provide lower than the approved capitation rates due to the reduced allocations in the approved budgets. The current state of funding for the free primary education and the free day secondary school education programs for the year 2025-2026 is as follows. For free primary education, the requirement for this financial year was supposed to be 9.11 billion. However, the approved budget estimates for 2025-2026 was only 7 billion, therefore giving a deficit of 2.11 billion. For free day secondary education, the requirement based on the numbers and the rates that we've indicated was supposed to be 78.5 billion. However, the approved budget estimates for 2025-2026 was 51.89 billion, thereby giving a deficit of 26.61 billion. To address the current resource gap, the ministry is proactively lobbying the National Treasury and the National Assembly for additional budgetary allocations, including in the context of the supplementary budget, to ensure that the programs are adequately funded. In this regard, for instance, the provision for capitation for free day secondary education this financial year has been enhanced by 3 billion, therefore reducing the deficit in the secondary education to 23.61 billion from the 26.61 billion. We will go on mobilizing for more resources and lobbying for more resources to ensure that we attain the approved rates of capitation. Madam Speaker, the approved rates for funding for secondary schools are adequate to support the needs and operations of the schools, especially in schools that have an optimal enrollment and considering economies of scale. It is critical, therefore, that this House supports the ministry and the schools by providing adequate budget. We also wish to indicate that we have given priority to vulnerable learners through targeted support, such as bursaries and scholarships. We also partner with development agencies and private sector actors, such as banks and foundations, to mobilize additional resources that supplement government. In the meantime, given the limited resources available, the ministry encourages schools to adopt measures to optimally use the capitation provided to ensure access and quality in education, and some of these measures include budgetary prioritization. Schools are advised to identify essential areas that require funding. They should prioritize spending on initiatives that directly contribute to learners' students' learning experience. We also encourage them to do resource sharing, where schools are encouraged to collaborate with other schools or educational institutions to share resources such as equipment and teaching materials. pooling of resources with neighboring schools has also the effect of reducing individual expenses as they can benefit from economies of scale. And also efficient resource utilization. We encourage them to implement energy-saving measures such as green energy and other energy-efficient initiatives that have the effect of reducing overall utility costs, which will also help schools live within the budget. We are supporting schools to achieve this. I submit.
Very well. Honorable Kimayu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The CS has tried to answer my questions, but there is a context on why I ask these questions, Madam Speaker. Article 53 of the Kenyan Constitution talks about free and compulsory basic education. The same Basic Education Act of 2013 operationalizes the same. And as a proponent of free education, Madam Speaker, in my constituency, I still see children being sent home. Yet here, we are told there is money for capitation. And let me talk about the free day secondary school, Madam Speaker. So you find principals in our constituencies still sending children home and saying we don't have capitation. Or some of them still say we received capitation, but it's not adequate. And the minister here is saying, is admitting the resources are limited, yet the Constitution talks about free and compulsory education. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, we want to have equity for everyone because education is a right in our Constitution. So I want the CS to address the issue where schools still send, children home to go and get money for school fees, yet it's supposed to be free. Again, Mr. Speaker, through the County Education Board, students are supposed to pay around 1,000 or 2,000 shillings for lunch for every month, which translates to around 9,000 shillings per year. Some of us, through the Constituency Development Fund, we are paid that money so that we ensure that students are in school. But you find that even after paying that 9,000 shillings per year, principals still send children home to collect more money. And I can give an example of a school in my constituency which asks up to 15,000 shillings per year. Yet here, we are talking about free education, and there is the guarantee that government has released money for capitation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Maina Madenge, MP for Nyeri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to pose just one question to the Minister on the issue of free and compulsory basic education. Is the Minister aware that the food and the school feeding program has become a barrier to the achievement and delivery of the free and compulsory basic education in this country? And if he is aware, then what is the ministry doing so that we have a coherent policy on the issue of feeding in schools?
The MP for Saku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, listening to the CS in terms of funding gaps of 2 billion at primary school and almost 20 plus in the secondary school. My question is, considering you have that funding gap, what is the predictable expectation of teachers or head teachers in terms of supporting that education which you almost call free? And I believe it is not free. Actually, nothing is free in our country. Thank you, Speaker.
MP for Marakwet West. Did you put in your
on the issue of TIG funds.
Something else?
Yes.
Okay. The MP for Funyula, Oundo, and Chematien.
No, it's okay, Speaker, for this.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Chematien?
Not in terms of money, in terms of quality, is what is hindering this country. You realize most of the learners come out of the school who are half-baked, and most of them are almost deleted because of the quality we give. Have a problem in the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kasim, MP Kasim.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Now that the CS has admitted, and it's not only this financial year, even in the previous financial years we've been having gaps, why don't we remove this word free? Because to most parents, when the CS says there is free, and he knows very well that there is a funding gap, some parents literally refuse to pay their balances. You give them a bursary this term, after the end, once that money is, they come back to you. They don't do anything because education is free. Why don't we be realistic, CS, and say from today henceforth, it's not free, so that even the parents can prepare to pay? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Yeah, Keses. MP for Keses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was wondering, you are calling me Keses. I am a member of Parliament for Keses constituency.
Yes, I said MP for Keses.
Thank you. In line with this free discussion of free primary, there is a project that are being run now by the ministry in preparation for senior secondary education after JSS, the twin laboratories. Mr. Speaker, I would wish the CS to clarify the procedure of identification, because what we are getting on the ground is purely distortion, in the sense that the real needy schools have been left out. Number two, the criteria in line of allocations, because you get some constituencies are getting even 1 or 2 or at least 4, others are getting even more than 10. Number three, why are these things being done so silently, even in the absence of the knowledge of members of Parliament, who happens to be struggling with the issue of allocating, even pushing the allocation of even CDF to support the same, so that at the end of the day, you might find duplication. Why? What is the interest behind this silent, under-carpet work being pushed by the ministry? What is the interest behind it? Why not being done open, yet it is public resources? And what I mean by public is public. NGCDF is public, it is done to public participation. Why this one of ministry being undertaken, done undercover? Thank you.
Honorable Wako Naomi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In line with the same free education, my concern is when we started the free education, of course, it was good news to everybody and every Kenyan. And many parents started taking their children to school. But today, many parents are suffering because they cannot pay their school fees. Can the minister come out clearly and tell us what is expected? Because in some of the remote areas, people know that it is free education, but when they come to school, they are frustrated. And it interferes with the performance of the children. And then for these other facilities that is being done, can the minister tell us whether it is done nationally and in all the areas, or it is to specific areas? Because in some of our areas, you go to some schools and you cannot see this. And I want to finish with the school feeding program. I know it is not there, but school feeding program. In some of our remote areas, people don't have enough food, and they depend on that school feeding program in some of the schools. And especially when the students are doing the exams, and a time like this, when they are preparing for their final exams. Can the minister tell us the plans they have for all the areas in this country, for all the 47, all the wards, and every school in this country, so that the school feeding program, especially in northern part of Kenya, is well catered for to take care of our students who are sitting for the exams? Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the question of free and compulsory basic education, I'm of this view. The Constitution requires us as a government to provide a free primary and secondary education under Article 53, but we have financial limitations. I think the conversation we should be having is how do we ensure that the funding gap is bridged so that when we request for, say, 78 billion based on the number and based on the rate that has been calculated, that sum is not slashed either by Parliament or by National Treasury, which then limits the funds that we have. So the solution to this is ring-fencing that budget just to ensure that we meet the requirements of the Constitution of providing free education. It is a challenge because we've not been getting what we request for. So once we agree as a country that we are going to enforce that article and the resources that we request for are ring-fenced for purposes of ensuring that that mandate is undertaken, then we will have complied with the requirements of the law. So we have to work towards ensuring that the resources that are requested are budgeted for, they are allocated. And one of the steps we are taking to ensure that this happens is what I indicated earlier as the verification exercise, so that we have an actual number that is known by each and everyone that this is the number that we have. So that based on the provisions of the Constitution, based on the numbers that we have in both primary, junior, and secondary, based on the policy of the rate that has been given, it would not be incumbent upon anybody then to slash that budget. With that, as a first step, we would be able to resolve a lot of the challenges that we are facing in the sector. But the Constitution requires us to do free education, and that is the legal and constitutional position in Kenya. With respect to the lunch money, the ministry does not provide for lunch. This is an arrangement that is made between the schools and the parents, the 1,000 or the 1,500. That is an arrangement that is made for between those individual schools. And we, as a ministry, do not have a budget to give for lunch, but we do have the budget to do the school feeding program, where I indicated earlier that currently we are doing 2.6 million learners. But the vision for the ministry is to move this number to 10 million by year 2030. That is where we are trying to find out where do we get the resources to ensure that these children who require the school feeding are actually provided for, to avoid a situation where now the school feeding or the lack of food becomes a limitation to achieving the constitutional provision of the free education to our students. Again, it is a question of resources. It's a question of availing the resources. And generally, one of the conversations that we've started having is because we've noticed that there are quite a number of various bursaries, various scholarships, various contributions, various donors in the country. We are required, the Senate did write to us recently to undertake an audit of all the bursaries that we have that support our learners, so that we can have perhaps a single pot from where the resources then can be given to ensure that we have completely, comprehensively free education for our children. The funding gap, to Honorable Russell's question, has been there, and it's still there.
Kimaye, what's your order? What's your point of order? Minister, sit, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of lunch, which my colleague has just asked about it, the Basic Education Act of 2013 establishes the county education boards. And it is this board that sit and agree on how much each county, they set the ratio, they set how much each county will pay for lunch, these students who are in free-day secondary school. But what happens, Mr. Speaker, like the case of my county, they are supposed to pay 1,000 shillings per month for lunch, which translates to 9,000 per year. But now, each specific school will go beyond that 9,000 shillings, which is set by the county education board. And now you get a school, like a specific school, I don't want to mention the name in my constituency. After the 9,000, they have said you need to pay 3,000 per term for bread. So that translates again to 9,000 per year. So a student will stay home because of 9,000 shillings, which is from Kate. So I need a clarification from the minister on whether schools should go and charge extra beyond what the county education board, are said to be the standard amount for that county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, as I've indicated, the ministry doesn't require that parents pay for lunch. It is optional. So that the teachers or the head teachers should never ever send students home because of the optional arrangement that they have between themselves and the parents. That is the actual and policy position of the ministry. So we will have to deal with that case in situations where, because it's an arrangement that is optional and that is, for lack of a better word, sort of private, so that you cannot use that to send away students because it's not a legal enforceable requirement. Okay. The other issues that relating to the question of free versus the quality. Again, as I indicated, because of these gaps and because of the challenges that are there where, for example, students may not come to school all the time because of these limitations, the quality might be affected. And as I've said, to remove or to adequately address that issue, we just need to ensure that the resources that we request for are allocated and they are ring-fenced to ensure that this space is protected. Thank you.
What is your position? You are asking a follow-up question, Madenge, or you are Honorable Madenge, or it's a point of order? Or you don't feel satisfied with the answer? Yes.
Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, it's there. It's just that
the minister has to be, I'm requesting the minister to be very categorical on this issue. One, that it is the ministry's position that any head teacher who sends a child home on account of the parent not having paid for lunch money is violating the policy and the directive of the ministry and the minister and the law. And the action that the ministry will take upon the reporting of such principals and head teachers to the education office. On the same vein is on the issue of the extracurricular activities, where you find children in slums are being sent home on account of not wearing sports shoes and sports uniform on a particular day, school day, where there is a requirement in a school for children to to attend class in tracksuits and in sports shoes. Mr. Speaker, we cannot have a policy that provides for free and compulsory basic education, and then along the line, the administrators introduce new barriers to the achievement of a national goal.
You made a point, Raso, the last one.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the question I posed to the Minister is, he said in primary school, a learner will be kind of entitled to 1,420 shillings, and in secondary school, 15,042 shillings. Junior. Now, if that is the case, and there's a funding gap, what is the predictable amount that schools will be planning on? Of course, this is what was projected, and reality, that is not what they are likely to get. And on a follow-up, what Honorable Naomi Wako asked about feeding program, particularly in the ASAL areas, where if you don't have feeding program, then most of those learners are not likely to attend the schools. So you really need to tell us something about that, Honorable Cabinet Secretary.
The very last one.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Listening to the Minister, there are serious funding gaps in basic education. Could we therefore take it to mean that education actors are going out of their way to find ways of filling this gap? Two, within the policy guidelines, are there provisions where these actors have the discretion of charging extra levies? And Honorable Speaker, we all come from this country, and we are almost all aware that many of our schools charge extra levies. And in meetings where these decisions are made, the ministry is represented, and yet they give the okay for those extra levies to be charged. Now, in this case, how is the ministry enforcing the charging of illegal, or how is it ensuring that institutions don't charge extra levies? Two, one assumption for education to be free is that the Ministry of Education, through the Teacher Service Commission, adequately staff schools, that schools are staffed with adequate teachers. We know that in schools that are up to Form 4, we could only be having a principal sent by the Teacher Service Commission. The rest are teachers on BOM, Boards of Management, and yet those teachers will require to be remunerated or paid. Now, from which resources, if the schools will not be allowed to charge extra levies so that they can meet the payment of those teachers. So I think, like the minister is saying, that we ring-fence resources. At the same time, the point where we are in, we are not able to meet all the requirements for free basic education in this country. So we must just be alive to that fact. And then now we tell the country that, yes, we have this challenge, and therefore, though the Constitution, the Basic Education Act is saying this, the guidelines are saying this, but the reality and the real issues on ground are not aligned to that. So what is the comment and the view of the Cabinet Secretary in relation to this? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Minister, Cabinet Secretary, answer this, and then we'll go to the next question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But one fundamental issue you have to take note of as you're answering is that you admit that there are funding gaps. There are funding gaps. And you have not created a provision for the head teachers to fill in that funding gap. Now, how do you expect institutions to move? Because the funding gap is there, the additional resources needed is not there, and you don't allow the principals to charge that funding gap to make it legal, because it's free education, free compulsory primary education. Maybe you need to be very clear about that. And if you need more time, you can then ask the House.
Mr. Speaker, I'll need more time to deal with that, but let me say this. The funding gap is a gap that we continue working with National Treasury to reduce. For example, as I've indicated, for this financial year 25-26, there was a funding gap of 26 billion. We managed to have it reduced by 3 billion during the first supplementary, and we continue working towards ensuring that by the end of the year, we would have reduced it substantially. That's why any levies that any particular head teacher or principal levies on account of the gap, the policy is that it is an illegal levy and it is not allowed. And they cannot use that levy further, for example, to send children home. That's what the official position is. That is the government policy that is subsistent at the moment. But as I've indicated, because this is an issue relating to lack of resources, we need to work towards ensuring that that gap is reduced and the funds for the ministry, once submitted, is ring-fenced so that we avoid situations in future where head teachers or principals are forced to try and fill that gap using their own method. So what I'm trying just to say is that the ministry's position is to work towards, through the government, to reduce that funding gap, and where the resources are being given to the institutions, as I earlier indicated, for them to be used optimally so that we can be able to meet the obligations that are required within the resources that we receive from the government. So that really is the position. What I can undertake here.
Most of the MPs here, if you followed very well their contributions and their concerns, is that gap, the failure to factor in for that gap, either through the parents or any other alternative, does that then compromise on the quality of education in our institutions? And that's one thing they will immediately rise up on a point of order and say, then what happens?
It's
because if it's illegal for them to demand for additional funding or additional, and you are admitting that there is need for additional funding, or are you saying that the additional funding that you need is for additional, more other, for lack of a better word, that still is not quite necessary for the very basic requirements for as a basic education, compulsory, free basic education? Or is that because you're not supplying them with taps or with anything before, because that you cannot afford at this stage? Or is it going to compromise on that very, very basic requirement for the children to be not seen as having an inferior quality of education? They will rise up on that, so I might as well guide you on this now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, but I'm just trying to
if you need
explain
more time, if you need more time,
the position. Perhaps I need more time to respond to that in a global manner.
Absolutely.
So that then we can
I think,
be able to,
yes,
to interrogate that whole space and see, even have an analysis of what does it really mean at the end of the day. But the policy of government as we speak, the levies that are given without the authority of the ministry are illegal and they should not be. That's the position.
Do you still need more
Yes.
time to have a very global answer to it so that you can go back? And I think it's fair to give the minister more time, and then he informs the committee. Is the Education Committee chair here today? Do you have anybody from the Education Committee here in the House? Interestingly, none, eh? Okay, fair enough. Minister, I think we need to give you more time on this. It's not fair just to... Kimayo, what are you? Oh, you are not in that committee. What do you have?
Mr. Speaker,
the minister has undertaken to give a very global answer to that question and send it through the committee. And I suggest you don't lynch him any further than you've done now.
Just in addition to that, Mr. Speaker,
yes.
I think it would be prudent if the minister can release a circular to all the schools, to the directors down there. Because, Mr. Speaker, we're not speaking to this in vain. Section 28.
If you listen to the chair very well, the chair said, does the gap impact on the quality of education?
Just allow me, Mr. Speaker, to read this part of the law. Section 28 of the Basic Education Act, 28(1). The Cabinet Secretary shall implement the right of every child to free and compulsory basic education. So, the onus is on the minister to implement that. The law allows him to implement that. So, if he can release a circular so that children of poor people in this country cannot be stopped from going to school. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The one serious undertaking that the minister has made is that while he's still going to come up with a comprehensive global answer to that question, that it's illegal to send any child home. And the minister, I hope I get you right. Yes, correct. And that you will proceed and do that executive, would I call it a decree, and make sure that does not, no child is sent away from school because of not paying that additional illegal funding. In the meantime, you come with a comprehensive global answer on how that gap is supposed to be catered for, accommodated.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. The next question is by the honorable member for Baringo. Has he? No, Baringo, sorry. And next question. Oh, Kimai has asked this question. The next question is, yeah, I'm right. MP for Baringo Central.
That was the first.
Oh, that was already before I came to the chair. Okay, fair enough. Next order. Yes.
Just a point of order.
In the meantime, order, honorable members. I think we are through with the. No. Eh? We are. What's your second?
Yes. I hope the cabinet secretary has not been distracted. Through you, don't distract the cabinet secretary. I want to pass a message. Cabinet secretary, on behalf of the people of Funyula constituency, they have asked me to sincerely thank you for gazetting Bumbe as a Bumbe National Polytechnic. They are extremely grateful, and they wish and they invite you for an investiture party or ceremony at your earliest time of convenience. Asante sana, Nyasaye akulinde.
MP says, what's your point of order? That's okay. I mean, a member of... we are through with the questions. I've called for the next order.
I'm not asking a question, but just a follow-up. I've tried to listen.
What's your point of order?
I'm on the point of order, Mr. Speaker. How can another point of order?
Order, Honorable MP for cases, please sit down. What's your point of order?
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the great member of Funyula has spoken some Latin.
Latin. Which says what?
I don't understand, and that's why I'm seeking your direction, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable MP for Funyula, Latin is not one of the languages of the National Assembly. Anyway, what were your issues, Honorable MP for cases?
Remember, my speaker raised a question which is very pertinent. It was on the issue of twin labs that are being done by the ministry, and I waited from the hands of the minister. But
come again?
The question I raised in regards to these Yes, I mean senior secondary school twin labs that are being distributed across the country.
Labs?
The twin laboratories. Yes, laboratories. And I've tried to listen to the CS, and it's never come out clear about that. Thank you.
Although that was not in the body of that, the question that the minister was prosecuting, but should you wish to give an answer at a later date, it's up to you. If you want to answer now, you can proceed and answer.
Thank you. My apologies. The ministry did an exercise and confirmed that there is a requirement of 1,600 laboratories that would cover about 1,339 schools that did not completely have a laboratory. Those are the ones that are going to have the laboratories that were provided for in this financial year, and the construction has not started. But we could undertake to provide a comprehensive list and the basis so that you can be able then to interrogate it. Thank you.
Fair enough. I think that's fair. On MP for Keses, I think you have had a very good response from the minister on that. Order, honorable members, order. Your Honorable Nabi Nabwera, you have just walked in. No, you don't have the floor. You don't have the floor. Honorable CS has been here the whole afternoon. You grilled him for questions that you never listed before, and he has been trying to answer everything and answered most of what was needed to be answered, and has given undertakings on the areas that you had concerns that he will come back through the committee and address that globally. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for you and your team. You are now discharged. Now we will go to the next order.
Thank you, members.
Next order. Honorable Naomi Wako, next order is order number 8. And you are here as a deputy. This is the first reading. Has it been done? Oh, the clerk will do that, yes. Yeah, you're right. Next order, order number 8.
Order number 8, the Public Service Superannuation Scheme Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Public Service Superannuation Scheme Act.
Yes, continue. Proceed.
Order number 9, motion, consideration of the 7th report on the examination of financial statements of selected state corporations. Resumption of debate.
The last person who was on the floor is the MP Kakai Bissau. You have 8 minutes left. I remember that very well because I chaired that plenary session. You can proceed now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Chair, Public Investment Committee, Social Services and Administration, Honorable Wangwe, for the immense work that has been done. If you look at the reports covered, it was about 7 years. While I know that through the House, there was need to come up with PICs, which has actually helped to fast-track the work of audit. And doing an audit of 7 years and also going back, close to a decade to look into records is not an easy job. So I'd like to thank the committee for doing that. But Mr. Speaker, I also sit on PIC, Education and Governance. But what has been very clear that if you look at all those records, most of the institutions have actually had qualified accounts. A very clear indication that there's been some non-performance in terms of what is expected in utilization of public funds. So even as we move forward, as a house, and we look, or we rather interrogate this report, it is important that we have mechanism whereby if heads of agencies are having qualified accounts for 3 years continuously, then we should find a way to ensure that we cut down this cycle. Mr. Speaker, do I continue? Because I see some interruption. So I would wish that we work on the current audits. I know most of the PICs have cleared the backlog, but it's important, Mr. Speaker, that we get into the current years. Because if you look at most of the audits that are been tabled, you'll find that even some of the institutions, the people who are there have already left. Because we are talking of from 2018 probably to about 2024. So it's important that we also try to be very current, and what is critical also to try and facilitate this particular PIC, Public Investment Committee, in all the sectors so that they are well resourced to be able to carry out this particular mandate. And that is the only way we'll ensure that actually there is value for money for every money that is sort of earmarked to every institution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Kasim Tandasa.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Jana tuliweza kukaa hapa mpaka tukaweza kufunga hiki kikao nikiwa nasubiri kutoa mchango wangu katika mswada huu. Nianze na kutoa shukrani zangu za dhati kwa mwenyekiti na kamati yake kwamba waliweza kukaa na kuweza kukagua hesabu hizi, nikifahamishwa kwamba mwenyekiti wa hii kamati ni mgwiji katika haya maswala ya hesabu na ukaguzi. Nitoe shukrani kwamba wameweza kukagua baadhi ya vitengo kama vile vya National Syndemic Diseases Control Council mpaka mwaka wa 23-24, tukimaanisha kwamba wameweza kufanya hii kazi mpaka kuwa sambamba, tukiwa tumebakisha mwaka wa 24 na 25. Hali kadhalika na shirika la National Social Security Fund na hili la ugonjwa la janga la saratani.
Sema kwa Kiswahili National Social Security Fund. Manake wewe ndio uko Mswahili kabisa. Yaani manake unajua Kiswahili kushinda wengine wote.
Sio kushinda wengine wote. Ile kwamba unatoka sehemu ya Mombasa haimaanishi kwamba unajua Kiswahili kushinda wote, kwa sababu Kiswahili pia ni somo ambalo watu wanafanya. Na ukiangalia katika mitihani, wanaofanya vizuri zaidi utapata mara nyingi hata sio wale wanaotoka pwani, ni wale ambao wako sehemu za bara, kwa sababu hili huwa ni somo kama jingine. Kwa hivyo
hoja la nidhamu
ni hoja ya nidhamu ama ni hoja la nidhamu?
Nidhamu Mheshimiwa Tandaza. Mheshimiwa Martha,
unajua
ako kwa hoja ya nidhamu.
Asante. Unajua Mheshimiwa Spika, ukitoka kule Mwambaoni kule mahali Mheshimiwa wa Matuga ametoka, hata ingawa wewe si mjuzi wa Kiswahili yote, tunaelewa kwamba unafaa kukua na ujuzi kuliko wale tumetoka bara. Lakini la muhimu, kanuni za kudumu za nyumba hii ama za bunge zimetuamrisha kwamba uwezi ukatumia lugha mbili tofauti. Kama umeanzia kwa Kiswahili, uendelee kwa Kiswahili. Kama umeanzia kwa lugha ya ishara, unaenda kwa lugha ya ishara. Na kama umeanzia kwa Kiingereza, unamaliza na Kimombo vile vile. Kwa hivyo, hata kama sio ujuzi, tufuate kanuni zetu.
Mheshimiwa wa Matuga, hiyo ni nidhamu ya kudumu ya bunge hii. Ama kwa lugha ya Kimombo ile inaitwa standing orders. Kwa hivyo, kwa vile umeanza na Kiswahili, uendeshe hiyo hoja yako na Kiswahili. Changia kwa Kiswahili.
Nimechukua hizo kanuni na nitajaribu kuzifuatilia, ijapokuwa Kiswahili sanifu, Mheshimiwa Spika, sio bunge hii, ni bunge hili. Nikiendelea kukusahihisha. Kwa hivyo tukiendelea mbele, nilikuwa nimefikia ile kanuni ya ibara ya 4 ambayo tunakuta kwamba ukaguzi wake ulifanyiwa kuishia mwaka wa 2018 na 2019. Hii inamaanisha kuna ukaguzi ambao haujafanyika kutoka mwaka huo mpaka sasa, ambao itakuwa ni takriban miaka 6. Jambo hili linanitia wasiwasi kwamba licha ya kazi nzuri ambayo imefanyika, lakini kuna kazi ambayo imebaki ya miaka 6 nyuma katika shirika hili, na bado ni shirika ambalo linaendelea kufanya kazi. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa ni maombi kwamba hii kamati iweze kujizatiti na kuona kwamba ukaguzi wao wote katika haya mashirika yanafuatiliana, ili ikiwa kuna ubadhirifu wa hela kama walivyotanguliza katika ripoti yao, basi hatua ziwe zinachukuliwa kwa wakati unaofaa, ili serikali, wananchi, nchi hii isiweze kupoteza rasilimali. Kulikuwa na maoni kwamba kwa sababu ripoti hii ukiangalia kwa kina, katika kila hili shirika kuna ubadhirifu wa hela, na walikuwa wamependekeza kwamba hizi hela ziweze kuregeshwa. Na ikafika wakati kwamba kuna maoni, mbali na kuregeshwa, pia hili bunge lisiweze kuwekeza pesa tena katika mashirika haya. Lakini tujue kwamba tukichukua njia ya kutowapatia pesa kabisa, bado ni wananchi ambao watateseka, ni wale ambao ni wao wanapata hizi huduma ambao watateseka. Wengine kama tulivyotanguliza ni watoto yatima, ni watoto ambao wanategemea ufadhili wa hili shirika, ili hali ni mtu binafsi ama ni ile bodi ambayo inasimamia ndio ambayo iliweza kubadilisha fedha hizi. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa ni maoni yangu kwamba hata ikiwa wamestaafu kama vile ilivyoonekana kwamba zingine walizitumia miaka 7, miaka 8 iliyopita na huenda ikiwa hawako, sheria nadhani kwamba wakati uhalifu umetendeka wa kibinafsi huwa hauna miaka. Hauna kwamba baada ya miaka 5 hawawezi kushtakiwa. Kwa hivyo ni maoni yangu kupitia hii kamati kwamba iweze kupendekeza kwa vile vitengo tofauti ambavyo vinahusika vya kisheria, kuona kwamba fedha hizi hawa watu wanashtakiwa hata kama wamestaafu, na hata kama waliaga, bado na imani fedha hizi waliweza kununua rasilimali tofauti. Ikiwa zinaweza kufuatiliwa na kupatikana, basi iwe zitafuatiliwa na ziweze kuchukuliwa, ziregeshwe katika mkono wa umma. Na endapo itafanyika hivyo, tutakuwa tunaweza kusaidia ama kuogofya wale wengine ambao wanadhani kwamba ikiwa mimi niko karibu kustaafu, kwa sababu wengi hata wale wazuri tumezungumzia swala hili kwamba kwa sababu mara nyingi ile pesa ya uzeeni haitoshelezi. Mara nyingi utakuta walioko katika vyeo mbalimbali wakifika wakati wa kustaafu miaka 2, miaka 2, miaka 3 ya mwisho, huzidisha ule ulafi kwa sababu ya ule uoga kwamba sasa atakuwa tena, huenda asiweze tena kuwa na gari, huenda asiweze tena kula vizuri, huenda asiweze tena kujikimu na matibabu ya afya, basi ndio huwa anapora zaidi. Lakini endapo wataweza kufuatiliwa, itakuwa moja kwa moja hata wao wanajua ni naiba, lakini najua nitafatwa, nitashtakiwa, mali itaifishwa, nitaadhirishwa, watoto wangu, familia yangu itaadhirika, watajua kwamba ilikuwa ni mwizi. Na hii itaenda ni hatua kubwa sana ya kuhakikisha kwamba hawa wanaosimamia na bodi zinazosimamia wanasimamia wakijua kwamba Wakenya wako macho, na vitengo vile ambavyo vinahusika vinafanya kazi kuhakikisha kwamba wafanye kazi. Na endapo mtu ataona kwamba basi hiyo pesa haimtoshi ile ambayo anastahili kuwa nayo, hakuna ubaya wa yeye kusema mimi ningetaka kustaafu, ningetaka kuacha kazi na kufanya biashara ama kufanya jambo jingine lolote lile, bali na kwenda kubadilisha hizi pesa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, nashukuru kwa fursa hiyo, na huo ndio ulikuwa mchango wangu, na naiunga mkono hoja na kuwapongeza walioweza kukaa na kutoa hoja hii. Asante.
Mheshimiwa Thuku Kwenya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to give my contribution to the audited financial report presented to this House by Committee on PIC on the same institutions, Mr. Speaker. And on the same note, I want to support the report by the committee. I happen to have served in that committee, and therefore I know the depth and to which those members have been able to go, so that then they produce the report that is before this House. But, Mr. Speaker, my misgiving is that after every financial year or financial years of expenditure, you find that audits are not done immediately. So the delay in auditing may not really cure, because the kind of reports that are presented to this House, they can only be equated to the work that is done by a mortician. You know, money has already been spent, maybe misappropriated. The people who are in these offices, some deceased, some retired, and therefore, at times, looks like we just trying to inform the public as to what happened, and maybe at times reports are very difficult to be acted upon, and maybe that gives our Committee on Implementation a lot of trouble trying to follow through to see that the recommendations of committees of this House are implemented. Mr. Speaker, I want to take note on two institutions, and I want to start with the National Social Security Fund. National Social Security Fund is a fund whereby employees and employers we've been accumulating monies in terms of monies that would say that's for pension or something to that effect. And for many years, this institution has not lived up to its mandate, so to say, because you can only draw the monies after retirement. And because there is accumulation of a lot of money over years, if the Board of Trustees is not careful and the management, they may find themselves investing the money in areas whereby it's just an area where they would benefit. I mean, the managers, the board members would benefit. I want to take special interest with the Hazina Towers. If you were to do serious audit as to how much money was spent to the construction of the same, and NSF annex, where they have a parking lot, then you realize there's no value for money. And pensioners' money has not been put into the rightful use. Take into account the kind of rent they're collecting from the said investment. They are not commensurate to the amount of money that is invested. And therefore, even as we go through this report, Mr. Speaker, we need to dig deeper and see, really, is there collision between contractors, engineers, and staff working at NSSF? Because if that be the case, then you realize that a lot of money has been lost. Last term, when I served in this committee, Hazina Towers was not complete, it was still under construction, even after many years. And the kind of claims that were coming were in billions. Claims of idle labor, claims of variations, and this could go on and on and on, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I think it's incumbent upon this House to restamp its authority and make sure that pensioners' money are put into the rightful use. The next institution, Mr. Speaker, is Child Welfare Society, a very noble government agency that has been doing a very good job. I keep wondering, why is it that institutions that are working are underfunded, or that is where politics is directed? Because the children of Kenya, and very vulnerable, so to say, Mr. Speaker, have benefited from support that they're getting from Child Welfare Society. In my own constituency, when I became a member of parliament, effortlessly, Child Welfare Society would go deep into the villages and pick children from very vulnerable families, some orphans, some where parents are suffering from sicknesses and diseases, and they would educate those children, and actually they educated them. But now the challenge was, Mr. Speaker, that money was not, could not be availed, or has not been availed when it is required. So at times these children are sent home, yet we are funding other agencies that have no direct impact in terms of alleviating poverty from the villages that we come from. Even as we seek for accountability from some of these organizations like Child Welfare Society, we must then also fund them adequately to make sure that the noble job that they are doing, they will do without hitches. Mr. Speaker, I wish to support the report, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on the same.
Honorable Nabi Nabwera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to add my voice to the motion by first thanking the chair and the committee for a job well done. Mr. Speaker, sitting in an audit committee of this nature, looking through a number of financial years to produce a report requires a lot of patience, a lot of resilience, and a clear mind. Mr. Speaker, having said that, allow me to say the following. On National Social Security Fund, I was imagining that for the year 2021-2022, because there's mention of Hazina, I expected a recommendation on a forensic audit for Hazina Towers. Mr. Speaker, Hazina Towers is an endless pit. And I agree with my brother who was on the floor before that there's no value for money. Mr. Speaker, the National Social Security Fund, you are aware, we have increased individual contributions, and now they are collecting a huge sum of money. My only comfort.
The Honorable Wangwe has a point of information. Do you wish to be informed? Honorable Nabwera, do you wish to be informed?
Speaker, Honorable Wangwe knows very well, he just wants to waste my time on this. Because maybe he's anticipating something I was going to say.
The issue is he has a point of information for you.
I don't want to be informed.
Okay, proceed.
Yes. Speaker, I was saying that the fund is now collecting a huge sum of money. And when a fund is collecting such amount of money, we need to be as current as we can for two things. One, so that if there is anything unusual, the report is able to flag it out and it plays its role of deterrence. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we are grappling with in the audit committees in this parliament is the lack of corrective action because of delayed actions. And it is critical, therefore, that we laud the committee for ensuring that they are up to 23-24. Mr. Speaker, one critical thing that is in all those reports is having qualified audit reports. What that means, Mr. Speaker, is that almost all those institutions, we cannot say we have value for money. The question we need to address, do we have the right staff in the accounting function? And if we do, why is it that in almost all those reports, as I read them, you will find the auditor complaining about missing records, misreporting? Mr. Speaker, from where I sit, the omissions and commissions are intentional. And therefore, the recommendations by the committee must be taken very seriously. Mr. Speaker, I've always recommended, and I want to make it very clear here, that we need to look at the South African model, where when audit reports are being interrogated, ESTC should be sitting next to there. DCI should be sitting next to there. From there, they move straight into action. Thugs and thieves and robbers who have taken public money, action be taken immediately. In this country, I'm sad to say, most of the recommendation, good recommendation by the PIC and other audit committees, they are gathering dust without action. More hurting is that we see people in whose organizations auditors have raised serious queries being moved from one organization to another. I'm calling upon this parliament to come up with a mechanism where if Nabina Bwera has been running a particular institution and the audit report so indicates the institution, he must not be allowed to hold another position. In any case, an institution is as good as the vision bearer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
MP for Nyeri Town, Honorable Madenge.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I support the report of this committee. And Honorable Speaker, it is sad that some of the institutions that we are seeing being audited here include the National Syndemic Disease Control Council, that is responsible for the affairs of Kenyans who are suffering from HIV and AIDS. Honorable Speaker, I notice that this organization in the financial year 2022-2023 was unable to absorb close to 164 million Kenya shillings. Yet, Honorable Speaker, this very week, we had Kenyans who are suffering from HIV on the streets on account of failure to access crucial life-saving and life-prolonging commodities that and services that ideally should be provided by such institutions. And Honorable Speaker, beyond the recommendations that we have in these reports, at the conclusion and the adoption of these reports, I am also adding my voice to my friend and colleague, Nabina Bwera, that this House is actually doing a lot of disservice to Kenyans. That we are allowing the recycling of people who have demonstrated incompetence in other capacities, and we allow them to be moved from one institution into another, and some of them with added responsibilities. Honorable Speaker, the kind of focus that Kenyans have put on Parliament informs me, and I believe informs all of us, that Kenyans have a lot of faith in this House. But this House is disappointing Kenyans quite a lot in terms of the failure to be more firm and more proactive in defending the people who put us into the offices that we occupy. Honorable Speaker, I see an audit of the National Cancer Institute. Yet yesterday, Honorable Speaker, we saw cancer patients come and sit in the Speaker's gallery to ensure that this House had received their petition and commits to addressing their plight. In addressing the plight of Kenyans, we must up the game. And in the reports that are before this House, from the Public Accounts and Public Investment Committees, we must be bold enough to recommend that certain people are no longer fit to hold public office on account of their omissions and commissions as heads of institutions that have been charged with the responsibility of handling stewardship of public money. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I hereby stand to support the statement by my colleagues who have spoken before me, and also to add my voice to the effect that those who have been given responsibility, Mr. Speaker, to be in charge of the institutions, very important institutions like corporations or national corporations, which have been given the responsibility on behalf of Kenyans to run the system of which they have been bestowed upon them, have really failed the Kenyans they are supposed to be protecting. I'm saying so, Mr. Speaker, because if you look at the audited accounts of the National Endemic Disease Control Council, which ends as part of it, you'll find that, Mr. Speaker, from the time when President Trump, the American president, took over, it really caused a serious scare when it was saying that the Americans are not going to be supporting or supplementing the availability of the drugs for cancer patients, for AIDS patients. And out of that, people started dying psychologically before the actual death. Yet you can see here in Kenya, more than 164 million Kenya shillings was not utilized. It was not used for the purpose which it was supposed to meant, which was meant to be used for. That's a very sympathetic situation, taking into account that the people who are suffering are so much exposed and they are unable on their own to support themselves. And yet, money is lying somewhere and it's not being used to support them. That's unfortunate. The situation is, if you are not affected in Kenya, by the situation surrounding those people who are sick of the condition, you are infected. If you are not infected, you are affected. Because if it's your relative, or if it's afraid, and is suffering, and you can see that the character is suffering, and you have nothing to do, the medicine is not in any other place, but it is somehow in specific areas, and it's provided in a certain method. And there is money, and that money is not used for that purpose, then there is a failure. And it's now upon this parliament to make sure that the people who are appointed in just state corporations are not in just people who are tired in other areas and they are just being pushed to state corporations as a place of solace or as a place of resting. We should have vibrant people who are capable, people who are qualified with the merit to lead the church institutions. If you come to cancer, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I conclude my remarks, you will find that cancer is a pandemic, especially in the Meru community. Meru is a leading county when it comes to cancer issues. Almost every family in Meru is affected by cancer. And you find that when it comes to cancer issues, the issues are not addressed as they are supposed to be addressed, as pertains to assist those who are suffering. Our people, especially in the Meru community, they have been rendered to be paupers, very poor. They have sold lands. They have exhausted all means to support their patients. And yet, you can see, as per the undetermined report, that the money which was supposed to be used for cancer purposes has not been used as it was supposed. My conclusion is, the statement, the undetermined statement, when the recommendations are made by the committee concerned, it should be acted upon within the shortest time possible. Because most of the monies in these state corporations, they are spooled or they are used in a corrupt method, that money is not used in a prudent manner. Look at the Tanzanians, NSSF, their social security funds. They are stolen buildings in Kenya. If you go to Hapa, you will find a very big one for money from social security. What about ours? What have we done? Only squandering money, finding money going through to buy barren lands so that people can have commissions, finding money being invested in unprofitable situations whereby people are not getting the products of what they have been invested for. You know, NSSF money is not any other money. It's contribution from workers. And it's contribution of which they are supposed to benefit at the end of the day when they retire. But that's not the case. One retires and he goes home and he takes years and years. Some of them even die before they get the benefit from NSSF. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's that time that whatever, if an undetermined account takes place, it shouldn't be acted upon within the shortest time possible, so that whoever is found to be guilty of spooning, misquandering, misusing public funds, either it can be jailed or his property can be confiscated by the state to compensate the workers who had contributed this money. But the way it is, due to bureaucratic method in Kenya as it is now, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, due to bureaucratic method, I can tell you that whoever steals in Kenya become a hero. Whoever steals in Kenya goes scot-free. Whoever steals in Kenya become the best politician the day after tomorrow, because you use that money to campaign and making sure that he has burdened the steps or he has burdened the loopholes where he had come through or where he created holes by stealing public money. And then he covered the same. Out of that, I hereby support this motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable members, there being no further interest from the members here to contribute on the same, I'll call on the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to appreciate my colleagues for having had this opportunity to really dissect my report together with the findings therein. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to promise my colleagues that this is the 7th report. We hope to pursue more reports. We'll want to make sure that other reports that will come will have to have the impetus of what my colleagues have mentioned. Those who have been affected, Honorable Speaker, we will have to list them so that we name them in the reports. So that, Honorable Speaker, there is this act, the Parliamentary Approvals Act, which suggests that once you are mentioned, Honorable Speaker, in a parliamentary report, you are not eligible, Honorable Speaker, for appointment. That's a caveat in that act, Honorable Speaker, and we'll have to enforce it. Although, Honorable Speaker, keeping the law very clear that the right of reply has to be respected. We'll do that, and Honorable Speaker, I want to once more thank you and thank my colleagues for supporting the report and seek that they vote for it at the right time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to reply.
Honorable members, I will direct that this question be put at an appropriate time in the future. For now, I will direct that we go to the next order. Next order.
Order number 10. Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House, the Privatization Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025.
Honorable members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole House on the Privatization Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025.
Clause 3.
I propose the question that Clause 3 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chair. The chair in this case is member for cases.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I hope I'm catching your attention. Can I proceed?
Yes, kindly prosecute your amendment.
Thank you, Chair. And as you said, standing in for the substantive chair for Finance and National Planning Committee as one of the members of the committee. Chair, I propose that Clause 3 be part of the bill. The proposed amendment seeks to provide for additional objects of the Act to buttress the purpose already provided for in the bill and to cover objects not yet provided for.
Therefore, I propose the question that Clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. If you instead to speak on this, put the intervention. Honorable Member for Funyula.
Chair, this is a timely amendment, but I must note that probably it's a kind of a legislation because the Capital Markets Act, the Competition Act, the Trade Remedies Act, and a plethora of acts already provide for such kind of arrangement, but it's okay, good. We have enough paper in Kenya, so there should be an issue. It's okay, thank you.
I therefore put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chairperson, Public Debt and Privatization Committee, represented by member for Kinango.
Thank you, Speaker. I beg to move that the bill be amended in clause 4 by inserting the words in accordance with Public Finance Management Act immediately after the word corporation. Justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to cross-refer to the Public Finance Management Act, whereby stipulated as to how the same should be carried out. If you look at section 87, 88, 89, and 90, then paragraph C should be retained because the government-linked corporations are already privatized and that should not be subjected to the whole privatization process.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chair, Public Debt and Privatization Committee. Honorable Member for Funyula, do you intend to speak on this?
Chair, we need your guidance because similarly, clause 4, there's an amendment by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, which seems, and then this one for debt and public debt.
Member for Funyula,
yes.
We first prosecute the amendment by the chair for public debt. If it is carried, it will have an impact on the proposed amendment by the Finance Committee. So let us first finish this, honorable members. I therefore propose the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, Public Debt and Privatization Committee. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Before we put the global question, there is another proposed amendment by the chairperson, which
Thank you.
Which should fail if this is carried.
Thank you, Chair. And for that purpose, I propose to stand down the amendment by the Committee.
Are you standing down or has it failed because the other one has gone through?
Already it has failed by virtue that
the effect is the same.
We are in agreement.
The effect is the same. Thank you, Member for Keses. I therefore put the question that clause 4 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
No amendment. I propose the question that clauses 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Mover, you have an amendment?
Chair, I propose that clause 10 be part of the bill. The amendment that we have is in
move the amendment.
Yes.
I'm the one to propose for it to be part of the bill.
Thank you, Chair, for that guidance. The committee is proposing a new clause 10A in that particular clause.
If it is a new clause, it should go to second reading. This is an amendment. If I look at the...
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. I think I'm well guided.
If I look at the order paper, you are amending clause 10.
Yes.
So it's not a new clause.
Thank
you have
Chair.
a new clause, but it's 10A. So focus on 10.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that the clause 10 be amended, and the justification are as follows: that the proposed new. Wait.
Member for Keses, I will forgive you. I think it's your first time to prosecute a bill on
let me
committee. Have you
Thank you,
got
Chair.
it, Chair?
You'll appreciate that this being my first time.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I've indulged you.
Thank you, and thank you for your guidance. Chair, I propose that clause 10 be amended, and in subsection 1D by deleting the words, each possessing a degree in either economics, accounting, finance, or any other relevant degree from a recognized institution and having 10 years of work experience, of which 5 shall be a senior management level in a relevant field. In subsection 3, by inserting the words, the youth person with disability immediately after the words and regional balances. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo?
Chair, while I support the amendments because it opens up to very many categories of Kenyans, I just want to, I do it with reservation on account that privatization is an extremely technical process. It's an extremely technical process, and there's a whole professional body to deal with it. Opening up to everybody, I am avoiding to use some derogatory statements, is going to overwork or overload. It's going to overwork or overload the secretariat, because the board members then would have not much to do. But for the sake of the various Kenyans of different age and disposition, let it pass, but I do so with reservations.
Very well. I now put the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable member for Matuga, I don't see you and I was very clear. Use your card for intervention. I now put the question that clause 10 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
No amendments. I therefore propose the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I propose the question that clause 16 be part of the bill. Mover, you have an amendment. You have a proposed amendment? Member for Keses.
Yes, thank you.
You are nomadic.
Thank you. Chair, I propose that clause 16 of the bill be amended in subsection 4. And the justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to reduce the tenure of the office for the managing director of the privatization authority from 4 years to 3 years, in line with the Mwongozo Code of Governance that recommends 3 years. Thank you.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair.
I am also nomadic.
What? You're making my work very difficult.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I want to support this amendment, Honorable Chair, and thank the committee, because in line with the Mwongozo Code of Governance for state corporations, very many CEOs in many state corporations have had tenures that are beyond 3 years against the Mwongozo Code of Governance. And therefore, this proposal also reducing the tenure of the MD of the Privatization Authority to 3 years is not just in line with that Code of Governance, but also in line with the government policy today to reduce even those that previously had more than 3 years. And you remember the Roads Amendment Bill that we passed recently, that's now an Act of Parliament, reduced to from 5 years to 3 years the tenures of the Director Generals of the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, the Kenya Urban Roads Authority, the Kenya Roads Board, and the Kenya National Highways Authority. And therefore, this is in line with the same policy, and I support.
Very well. I now put the question that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 16 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 17, 18, 19, and 20.
These have no amendments. I propose the question that clauses 17, 18, 19, and 20 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 17, 18, 19, and 20 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
I propose the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. Chair, move amendment.
Thank you, Chair. The clause 21 of the bill be amended in subparagraph 2. Justification that the proposed amendment seeks to provide clarity in the paragraph. Thank you.
Wilberforce, Honorable. Okay, hold on. I now propose the question that clause 21 be amended as proposed by the chair. Member for Funyula.
Chair, this is also a good amendment, but without anticipating debate, national security interests have not been defined in clause 2. Without anticipating debate, probably it will be neater for clarity to clearly define, otherwise then to remain very amorphous and difficult really to enforce. Probably somewhere, we need to very clear in our mind what constitutes national security interests.
Very well. Member for Matuga, are you on this?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just as Honorable Ondo said, this issue of national security interest can be misused. So I wish as we move on, it will be more specified and be more accurate what constitutes national security interest. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I now put the question that clause 21 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 21 is amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I propose the question that clause 22 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 22 be amended as per the order paper, and justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to correct the marginal note to accurately reflect the import of the provision. Thank you.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the chair. Yes? I then put the question that clause 22 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose the question that clause 23 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the chairperson. Member for Keses.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that the clause 23 be amended as per the order paper, and the justification, the proposed amendment proposes to increase of the period of consideration of a privatization program from the 60 days to 90 days to cater for any eventualities of delay in consideration of the privatization program. Also, it merges clause 24 with clause 23, since both provisions can be read together as one provision and have a logic flow. Thank you.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the chair. Member for Funyula.
Chair, I also had an amendment on the same, but now the amendment by the committee fully addresses our concerns that we had in the second reading. So I support, and when it comes to mine, you can go on record, I have dropped mine. Or do you want me to drop at the next
Well, we will get to that, but you have already made your views known. Yes, Majority Leader.
Chair, I want to support that particular amendment and agree with the Honorable Ondo that his literally is covered by the amendment by the committee. And also state that the language in this bill is very good, and I must commend the drafters of this bill, because it says within a specified period of days, within the 90 days. Therefore, it means that even if the privatization program is finished, the Parliament finishes consideration within 45 days, you are still within the 90 days. If you finish within the 62nd or 63rd day, you are within the 90 days. And this language is better than where in other acts of Parliament where we say that you shall consider a certain program within a period not exceeding or for a period, because it means then you have to keep it for those 90 days. This means we will not need to keep it for 90 days. If Parliament is able to consider and approve a privatization program within 45, 40, 50, 60, 70, we have up to 90 days. Thank you.
I therefore put the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 23 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 24.
I propose the question that clause 24 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I propose that clause 24 be deleted as per the order paper. Justification that the proposed amendment seeks to delete the provision since it has been merged with clause 23. Both provisions can be read together as one provision and have the logic flow.
Thank you. I therefore propose the question that clause 24 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 24 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I propose the question that clause 25 be part of the bill. Mover.
Chair, I propose that clause 25 be amended as per the order paper. And justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to align the provisions to the National Assembly's standing orders procedures. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
Let me also join the majority leader in commending the drafters with the reservations or proposed amendments. Honorable Speaker, Chair, it speaks to the provisions and the spirit of Article 1115, where it was never intended that anybody else could make law. The same way that the privatization program is a fairly technical. Parliament can only express reservations and send back with the proposed amendments, not descriptive amendments. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Chair.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 25. I now put the question that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 25 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 26.
I propose the question that clause 26 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 26 be amended as per the order paper. And the justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to align the provisions of the National Assembly's standing order procedures. Thank you.
I therefore propose the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
Chair, I want the mover to listen very carefully. In clause 25, the words used with reservations or proposed amendments. In clause 26 in B, you are talking about the proposed reservations or amendments. Why can't we remain consistent with the reservations or proposed amendments instead of resorting to proposed amendments, reservations or amendments? Consistency. You know, I didn't go to law school, but I've learned law by looking at the lawyers, listening, and also legislating. The issue of consistency in drafting is extremely important. We need guidance.
Mover, I think Honorable Oundo has a point.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think from that comment of Honorable Oundo, it is something that we can correct it. Oh, I move it.
You move it now as amended, as the proposal from Honorable Oundo.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 26 be amended as proposed by Honorable Oundo.
Majority Leader, you're not doing a very good job. We agree.
I will.
Member for Keses.
Yes, you know,
moving,
he's doing a good job.
He's doing
a good job, and that's why
I assigned him to be under your pupillage.
He is simply proposing that clause 26 be amended as was provided for in the order paper and further amended as proposed by the Honorable Oundo to create the consistency in language that Oundo spoke about on the reservations. And are we clear now, Chair? Because I also support that particular proposal because it creates consistency.
Thank you, Majority Leader. What I would guide, because by our standing orders, Honorable Oundo cannot move that amendment. So mover, move that under B. You move under B and C? Yes, B and C, you move as we had moved in 25 with reservations or proposed amendments. With reservations and it's the wording actually.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I move that clause 26, B and C be amended as per the order paper and further be amended the same B and C to reflect a consistency in the words reservation and proposed amendment. With reservation on proposed amendment.
Very well.
Thank you.
I think you've done okay. So, honorable members, allow me to propose the question. To put the question that clause 26 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 26 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I propose the question that clause 27 be part of the bill. Chair, to move amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move an amendment on clause 27 as per the order paper. Justification is the proposed amendment 6 to align the provisions to the National Assembly's standing orders procedures.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 27 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
As no amendment, I propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I propose the question that clause 29 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by member for Funyula, and it will have an impact on the next proposed amendment. Kindly move.
Chair, I move that clause 29 is amended by deleting the word 8 appearing immediately after the word exceeding and substituting therefore the word 5. Chair, the import of the amendment is to reduce the privatization program from the lengthy 8 years to a reasonable period of 5 years. And my reasoning, Chair, was simply, typically, our planning program is about 5 years. Even if you look at Vision 2030, the various MDPs were period of 5 years. But I can say there is an amendment elsewhere to reduce to 4 years. I leave it now to the House to decide.
Very well. I therefore propose a question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the member for Funyula, Honorable Oundo. Mover. Honorable Member for Cases.
Thank you, Chair. Clause 29, Chair, I beg to move that this amendment be undertaken.
No, Honorable Member for Cases and the Majority Leader. The amendment has already been moved. So you can't move yours, yes.
We are
Yes,
contributing
you make
that.
a contribution, don't move it. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I think on my side, I want to look at it that number 5 years is quite long as compared to, it's different here because 4 years and 5 years are different numbers. We are proposing 4 in line with the time period of the governance that have been provided.
So are you supporting the amendment or opposing the amendment?
I'm proposing a different amendment.
Majority
So
Leader?
I'm opposing. this
You are
amendment.
opposing?
Yes.
Majority Leader?
Chair, I would have wanted to support, but allow me to oppose and, or rather convince Honorable Oundo to allow us to carry the committee's proposed 4 years, because 4 years, 5 years, and 4 years for a particular reason that even our budget cycle, the medium-term planning we do every 3 years. And also these programs are coming to Parliament for approval. We shouldn't have one that is carrying on to another parliament. For instance, if you've got a privatization program now that was to begin in the year 2025, it means it will go to 2030, isn't it? Into the life of another parliament. It is good so that we midwife these processes by the parliament that approves that particular program. And I think 4 years is a very good proposal so that the life of every parliament, at least you have a privatization program that you cover.
Very well. I now put the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the member for Funyula. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. Chair, you can now move your amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 29 be amended as per the order paper, and the import is the reduction or to reduce validity period of the privatization program is aligned to the tenure of the members of the Board of Privatization Authority and seeks to ensure that the privatization is expeditiously concluded. In any case, clause 30 of the bill contains internal safeguard where the Cabinet Secretary can amend the privatization program.
Thank you. A case has already been made for this amendment, so allow me to propose the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. Let me put the question that clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 29 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 30 and 31.
I propose the question that clauses 30 and 31 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 30 and 31 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Mover.
Chair, thank you. I propose that clause 32 be amended as per the order paper. The justification, the proposed amendment seeks to provide for parameters for limiting the participation of the foreigners in privatization to provide clarity on the participation of non-Kenyans. This is aimed at striking a careful balance between involvement of the Kenyans and non-Kenyans in privatization. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
You know, Chair, when I saw the amendment, when the proposal in the bill, I was just left wondering how enforceable it is. Because if it go for initial public offer and goes listed on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, I do not know which miracles or which safeguards shall we put in place to ensure that the foreigners do not get a pie of the privatized institutions that are of strategic nature, national security, economic empowerment and inclusions like the Chair, you see, probably either the committee could enlighten so that I'm well informed if I'm asked I can answer, or the majority leader can become a sword of committee foster committee and assist us to unravel. Because, you see, it's a good talking point, but enforceability is what we have not put in place, safeguards, to ensure that initial intention is maintained. Thank you, Chair.
Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I would wish to give comfort to Honorable Undo that is, but the same act has given powers to the Cabinet Secretary to formulate further regulations to implementation on this. And I'm sure on this one, the fears will have been captured so that it can be executed as per the law. Thank you.
Leader of Majority.
Chair, maybe also to allay the fears of Honorable Undo, and particularly in relation to an initial public offering, as he says. And Honorable Undo, being a well-schooled person, is aware that in the country today, unlike many years ago when you could just walk into the Nairobi Stock Exchange and through a broker just purchase on account of the broker shares, now you must have a Central Depository Settlement account, the CDSC account. And those CDSC accounts have unique identifiers, whether it is your ID, your registration certificate as a company, or your passport number as a foreigner. Therefore, it will be very easy to sieve out who are foreigners and who are local investors. Honorable Speaker, this is a very critical amendment that I want to support from the committee. And particularly, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, if you've listened to some of the people who have been opposing the initial public offering of KPC, they have been telling Kenyans, oh, this company is going to be sold to foreigners, we will lose our strategic national assets. These are the safeguards that you spoke about when you were discussing the session of paper on the Kenya Pipeline Corporation IPO, that there will be safeguards within the law. These are the safeguards that we are now creating. And I truly hope that one Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is listening to me. And if he's not listening, probably Robert Mbui should send him a clip of what we are saying here, so that he sees we are safeguarding not just those things that we consider national security, to be of national security interest, but also those that serve our national development goals and policies, those investments that are strategic in nature to the public and whose potential for enriching Kenyans and not foreigners is great. Therefore, I strongly support this amendment, and I believe Honorable Undo is now convinced that we are well taken care of.
Honorable Kasim Tandaza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a very important amendment considering item E, which talks of the risk of foreign dominance or monopolistic control. We know very well at this point in time, unless we are safeguarded, most Kenyans might not be having the disposable income that will be able to compete with foreigners and those with big pockets. So for me, I really support this amendment, for it takes care of the local mwananchi when it comes to the issues of buying shares. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Bisao Kakai.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's a very important proposal so that we don't let out our strategic assets, of foreign hands. As much as it's a capitalist market, but we still believe that most of it should remain within the Kenyan citizenry approach. But again, we don't want to have it implied as a law. We want it in black and white as the Constitution states, so that even as a point of reference in the future, an example sitting at the stock exchange, we should be able to define it and say, foreigners can have shares, but not beyond this certain percentage. So we need it to be documented, to be in black and white, and as a reference point. Thank you, Chair.
Well, I therefore propose the question that clause 32. I now put the question that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 32 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 33.
I propose the question that clause 33 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on the onset, I want to state that clause 33, as per the order paper, has been typed wrongly to me to be clause 34.
Yes, there is a typo on the order paper.
Yes, the typo header.
It's noted.
Chair, I further move that clause 33 of the bill be amended in subsection 2 by deleting paragraph C. And the import is that the proposed amendment seeks to delete paragraph C, which makes reference to an non-existent provision. In any case, paragraph A makes the correct reference and captures the right intention of paragraph C. The amendment is therefore a cleanup. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 33 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 33 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 34.
I propose the question that clause 34 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 34 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 35.
I propose the question that clause 35 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 35 be amended as per the order paper. And justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to provide for a privatization proposal to specify an initial valuation report of the entity to be privatized to safeguard public interest and to ensure fiscal transparency and accountability in privatization process. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
Chair, I had also a similar amendment, and I'm happy that the committee consulted widely and saw the need of having an interim or initial evaluation report, because an investment proposal without a valuation report, that's hoodwinking Kenyans. Because I've been in this space for long. I started privatization, evaluating privatization, 1990s, during the 5 sugar mills in this country. So I know. Thanks a lot for picking that. Of course, now I do not need.
Are you dropping your amendment?
Yes,
on
I am.
record. Yeah. Majority Leader.
Chair, I beg to support this particular amendment, and especially the question of valuation, not just the financial status or financial position of the entity seeking to be privatized. Again, Honorable Chair, you remember during the debates on the sessional paper on the Kenya pipeline, and even the public discourse that has been ongoing on that, even in political rallies outside this chamber. Because many of our leaders are lazy to read, and I must say so, Honorable Speaker. They have been saying, Kenya pipeline, we are not sure of the valuation. How can we go into an IPO before it is valued? And you remember, Honorable Chair, us arguing here that before any privatization is carried out, whether it is through an initial public offering or whichever method, and indeed this particular clause, if people had bothered to read, because this law, or rather this bill, is almost a replica of the act that was nullified in court on the basis of public participation. And it had all these provisions. The current law as it is, the old law that will be replaced by this particular one, also had all these provisions that you cannot privatize something without knowing the value of what you are selling. Because even your own second-hand clothes, you know if you are taking them to a Mutumba market, how much they are worth. And the discourse has been whether there will be a valuation of the Kenya Pipeline Company before it is privatized through an IPO. And herein lies the answer, and I do pray that those who have been shouting out there, including members of this house, some members of this house, especially those from the Wiper party, and you can see none of them is here now when we are making the law. And the member for Kajiado North is the one I saw at a press conference speaking about valuation of Kenya Pipeline. Now, when we are doing the law, they are nowhere. And I must commend the Honorable Undo because he not only speaks but acts, and he is diligent enough to make sure that what he is speaking about out there, he is here to legislate. Because that is where we elected members of the public, Honorable Chair. Sorry that I had to go into that, Honorable Chair, but it is important because this is the actual lawmaking. But those who shout loudest, you will not find them here now today when we are doing the actual legislative work. But tomorrow you will see them in a press conference somewhere near City Mortuary. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kwenya.
Thank you, Speaker. I am very impressed with this amendment. Indeed, just like the majority leader has just said, you cannot really purport to say that which you do not know the value. And therefore, this inclusion of initial evaluation report in this bill is very important, and I actually support.
Member for Matuga.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On the issue of the evaluation, I would be quite categorical that in most cases, land is undervalued when it comes to the issue of valuation on these enterprises. So it is my hope that this time, along as we do with privatization, land is valued as it is. If the pipeline passes through current, certainly the value of land is more than when it's passing through Tsavo, and that should also be taken into account. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
I therefore put the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 35 is well, before I put the global question, there is, oh yes, be on record, member for Funyula, as having dropped this amendment before I put the global question.
Chair, I dropped so that we move on. Thanks.
Very well. I therefore put the question that clause 35 is amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
I propose the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. Member for Funyula.
Chair, again, I think for the very first time, our minds and intentions with the other side, at least are in sync.
Which other side?
The side on your left. No, the side on your right.
Very well.
They are in sync. I had proposed amendments because the argument was the privatization program, is it a program, must also be subject to parliamentary approval. And I can see the committee has carried it, and probably they even have more elaborate provisions than I provided for. So allow me to drop in favor of the committee amendments.
Very well.
So when you call the question, I'll also contribute on the same.
Very
Thank
well.
you.
There is no amendment then on clause 36. Allow me to put the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 37.
I propose the question that clause 37 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 37 be amended as per the order paper. The reason is that the proposed amendments is a consequential amendment arising from the preceding amendments. Thank you, Chair.
I propose the question that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 37 is amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 38.
I propose the question that clause 38 be part of the bill. Mover.
Chair, I propose that clause 38 be amended as per the order paper. Justification is that the proposed amendment seeks to ensure that the valuation of an entity is an accurate representation of the value of the entity to be privatized. Proposed, that's under the proposed entity. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
This is a very well thought out amendment, but probably we could also go further, but probably the fullness of time, even where they have other places or other companies where they have got beneficial interest. Where they have beneficial interest. Chair, let me just put a very clear. Probably an entity we are privatizing has bought shares in the Nairobi Stock Exchange in a company where they're just mere shareholders, they have no controlling authority. They have no control. How do we incorporate those shares in a formalized manner? So that's a food of thought, but for now, we can live with this, but the issue of beneficial interest in other entities needs to be incorporated, probably in regulations or in due time.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Chair, Honorable Ondo has a point, but if you read the provision in that clause 38, it talks about a business and asset valuation. If you are holding some beneficial ownership of shares at the Nairobi Stock Exchange, is either part of your business or your assets. And therefore, when you value that business, you value part of the asset, part of the other investments that you'll be holding, whether it's land or shares. And I think it's taken care of.
Very well.
Dr. Ondo looks convinced.
Very well. I therefore put the question that clause 38 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 38 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44.
No amendments. I propose the question that clauses 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 45.
I propose the question that clause 45 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 45 be amended as per the order paper. Justification: the proposed amendment seeks to ensure the consistency of terms used in the bill. The bill provides for reviews in state of objections, and the amendment seeks to ensure consistency. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 45 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 45 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 45 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 46, 47, and 48.
I propose the question that clauses 46, 47, and 48 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 46, 47, and 48 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 49.
I propose the question that clause 49 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 49 of the bill be amended by deletion. Justification: clause 48 of the bill was adequate since it provides safeguards in as far as proceeds of the privatization shall be paid into the consolidated fund. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 49 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
Thank you, Chair. When I saw the clause, I actually wanted to move an amendment, but I was afraid because many times matters dealing with finance and the rest, money bill, we are always told that we need to seek approval from Treasury, so we would have lost. But I think this is a very good amendment. In any case, proceeds are proceeds, they know where to go. Indicating that clause as it was unnecessary and just a dilution of the process. Thank you.
Ishongwa.
Thank you, Chair. I think this, Honorable Chair, is a very good amendment because first it creates clarity as to where proceeds will go. Because if you read 49, it was alluding to proceeds from the sale of a public entity, that the money would be deposited in a special interest-bearing account established for that public entity's privatization, and the proceeds shall be credited in the consolidated fund account within 90 days. And you know, Honorable Speaker, I think in the interest of accountability and transparency, it was important that we provide that clarity that that money can only immediately go directly in the consolidated fund, so that there are no gray areas as to how long someone would hold money, because people may put money in a commercial bank, earn interest, and eventually just remit to the consolidated fund the principal of what was put into that account. And therefore, by deletion, it is now clear that all proceeds shall go to the consolidated fund. Honorable Chair, again, those who have been speaking out there, and you have heard them, oh, Ruto is selling KPC. This money is not going to Ruto's pockets or President William Ruto's bank account. All this money will go into the consolidated fund. And this House is the one that will appropriate money that goes into that fund. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, for the clueless people that I have seen on TV stations, Honorable Speaker, saying that William Ruto is selling KPC, he is buying KPC, they can now come and read the law. It is there.
I now put the question that clause 49 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 50.
I propose the question that clause 50 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 50 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 51.
I propose the question that clause 51 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 51 be amended by deleting clause 51 as per the order paper. Justification, clause 51 of the bill provides for the appeals to the Privatization Appeal Board. The proposed amendment deletes this reference since there is a danger that the board may not be aligned to the High Court declaration in Petition 197 of 2018, which was also upheld at the Court of Appeal in the Attorney General versus Okoiti and 3 at the Civil Appeal number E416 of 2021 under Kenya Law Reports. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 51 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
Chair, at least now this we are a listening parliament. We raised these concerns in the second reading, and it's good it has been addressed. And for me also, my only point of discomfort was another layer, because privatization is a timely assignment, having an appeal tribunal, then going to High Court, Court of Appeal, it was going to delay the process. Thanks for listening to the Kenyans and deleting this cumbersome and onerous body that we had inserted in the bill.
Very well, Kwenya.
Madam Speaker, looking at this amendment, this cures an expense that would have incurred in terms of establishing this appeals board. And I am in support because it is going to save, even in terms of timelines. If anybody is dissatisfied, we already have existing judicial system where anybody can seek redress, and therefore establishment of, without preempting the amendments that are coming, there's no need of establishment of an appeals board.
Very well. I therefore put the question that clause 51 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 51 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 52.
I propose the question that clause 52 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that the amendment be deleted in clause 52 as per the order paper. Chair, the justification is that there was need to delete clauses number 52, number 53.
Move one by one.
Yes, that is, yes. Up to 58 of the bill, providing for the establishment, because Chair, this resembles the justification in these particular clauses are related because it refers to the case already, which was determined by court. So it was a question of cleanup.
Okay.
Yes, in the whole deletion. That's why there is justification to delete 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58 of the bill, providing for the establishment, functions, composition, conduct, and related provisions on the Privatization Appeals Board. The deletion are informed by the following reasons. Number one is the case I referred earlier in case of clause 52, the case in Okoiti versus Judicial Service Commission and 2 others, Katiba Institute, who are interested party, petition of 197 of 2018, and the Kenya Law Reports. where the petitioner sought various reliefs from the court with respect to the constitution, composition, and operation of tribunals established pursuant to Article 169, subsection 1D of the Constitution of Kenya. 2010, the High Court held that the local tribunals created under Article 169, subsection 1, subsection D of the Constitution are subordinate courts in Kenya. The appointments and removal of members of the local tribunals created under Article 169, subsection 1 and D of the Constitution by the executive violates the principle of separation of powers, contravenes the right of, to fair hearing under Article 50 of the Constitution, and infringes on the independence of the judiciary, and that of the local tribunals under Article 169, 1D of the Constitution, must be transmitted to the judiciary, and the appointment and removal of their members be undertaken by the Judicial Service Commission. The second justification, although
you'll keep it short, don't
yes,
read
yes,
the
yes.
whole. Yeah.
Yes. Although the bill names the appeals body or privatization appeal board, there is a danger that the board may not be aligned to the High Court declaration. The other reason is the appointment of the members of the privatization appeal board by the executive violates the principle of separation of powers and contravenes the right to fair hearing. Lastly, the proposed appeals board has financial implications, and this would impose extra financial burdens in the operationalization of the Act. Thank you.
Very well. I will therefore propose the question. We have, I know we would have, if we were to follow Honorable Member for Kesesi, we'll do them together, but they will be prosecuted each by each, because you can have an issue with one and not the other. But I will indulge the member to use the same justifications as above. So allow me to propose the question that clause 52 be amended as proposed by the chair, and put the question that clause 52 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 53.
I propose the question that clause 53 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. From the spirit I get from members and from your guidance, clause 53 I propose to be amended as per
to be
the order
deleted.
paper, to be deleted as per proposed by the order paper, and the justifications relates to what I've read in clause 52.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 53 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 53 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 54.
I propose the question that clause 54 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 54 be deleted as per the order paper, and justification is as related in clause 52. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 54 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 54 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 55.
I propose the question that clause 55 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to propose that clause 55 be deleted as per the order paper. Justification again is as per cited in clause 52. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that clause 55 be amended as be deleted as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 55 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 56.
I propose the question that clause 56 be part of the bill. Mover.
Chair, I propose that clause 56 be amended by deleting that clause as per order paper. Justification again is as cited under clause 52. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 56 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 56 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 57.
I propose the question that clause 57 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 57 be deleted as per the order paper, and justification again is in relation to the citation of the case in clause 52. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 57 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 57 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 58.
I propose the question that clause 58 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 58 be deleted as per the order paper. Justification is citation of the case under clause 52. Thank you.
I propose the question that clause 58 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Member for Matuga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. I support these deletions because as we were talking about this tribunal, something was going through my mind. It is not every day that we have a privatization process. If we were to have a standing tribunal, they will just be withdrawing allowances until when there is a privatization, and I think this would be a lot of money wasted from the exchequer and the taxpayers' money. I support the deletion. Thank you. I support.
I therefore propose the question that clause 58 be deleted as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 58 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72, 73, 74, and 75.
I propose the question that clauses 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, and 75 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, and 75 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses. New clause 10A.
Mover, move second reading.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I move that the new clause 10A be read a second time. Chair, justification is that the proposed new clause seeks to provide for similar qualifications requirements for both the chairperson and the members of the board appointed under the clause 10(1) subsection 1D of the bill. This seeks to ensure that the board's capacity is enhanced to realize the board's and authority's purpose. The proposed chairperson's qualifications are key due to the critical role the chairperson plays in governance, accountability, and the overall policy direction of the board. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that new clause 10A be now read a second time. Oundo?
We need a clarification, Chair. And this clarification is in view of the amendments that we made in clause 10 that deleted each processing a degree in either economics, accounting, finance, or another relevant degree from recognized institution having 10 years of work experience, of which 5 shall be at a senior management level. Again, we go to 10(1)D and again reimpose the same qualification that we deleted. We need a clarification because there is a contradiction. We are deleting, then reinserting. Sorry to use the word, it might mean something else. So we need clarity. We cannot read in isolation. We need clarity. If we since the clause 10(1), clause 10, the amendment was carried, then why would you have then a new clause 10A? Chair, probably a clarification will do.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Read this amendment together with what we passed, the deletion under clause 10.
Thank you, Chair. I think the deletion of clause 10 and the introduction of the new clause is just but for the purpose of logic of law and nothing further than that. Thank you.
I don't.
No.
We don't get you. Go ahead. Go again.
No.
I didn't hear you.
I'm saying this is the reason justification is for logic of law. That's compliance. Thank you.
Oundo?
Chair, it's not true. And if you allow, can you allow the chair and the majority leader to consult the technical team just for a second so we get clarity? Because this seems to be
there is confusion.
A contradiction and some confusion. Allow them a minute or so.
Yes.
So that, we are legislating for posterity. I mean, it's not for today, I don't want to sit and say I saw the anomaly and I didn't correct. And yet people paid for me school fees.
Chair.
Honorable Oundo, even as they consult, I was also trying to go through it myself. If you look at the bill, it enumerates who is supposed to be in the board. But they had put under D the issue of qualifications. So 10A is meant to isolate the issue of qualification and leave 10 to be just the list of who should be in the board. Just my understanding, but maybe majority leader can assist.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, that is actually the position, and it's just giving some logical flow to the same qualifications. If you read the old 10 and the new 10A.
Kasim, are you on this?
No, he's not.
Okay.
And Oundo seems satisfied.
Yes, so allow me, honorable members, to put the question that the new clause 10A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the new clause 10A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 10A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36A.
Mover.
Chair, I move that the new clause 36A be read a second time. As per the order paper, justification. Whereas the bill provides for the role of the National Assembly in the approval of the privatization program, it doesn't provide for similar safeguards on the privatization proposals. Therefore, the proposed amendment seeks to provide for the role of the National Assembly in the approval of the privatization proposal. Approval of the privatization program alone is not adequate as an oversight mechanism of the privatization process. Further, Section 23, subsection 3 of the Privatization Act of 2005, Cap 485B, provides some safeguard, albeit inadequate. It provides as follows. The Cabinet Secretary shall submit a report in form of a sessional paper on a privatization proposal approved by the Cabinet to the National Assembly for consideration. Thank you.
I propose a question that the new clause 36A be now read a second time. Okay, I therefore put the question that new clause 36A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that new clause 36A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 36A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36B.
Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I move that the new clause 36B be read a second time, and justification is as I read in 36A. Thank you.
Very well. I propose the question that the new clause 36B be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 36B be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 36B be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 36B be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 36C.
Mover.
Chair, I move that the new clause 36C be read a second time. Justification is as read in 36A, clause 36A. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 36C be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 36C be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose a question that the new clause 36C be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 36C be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 36D.
Mover.
Chair, I move that the new clause 36D be read a second time. Justification, Chair, is also indicated in clause 36A. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 36D be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 36D be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 36D be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 36D be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 36E.
I propose a question that new clause hold on, Mover.
Chair, I move that the new clause 36G be part of the be read a second time, and justification is as indicated earlier. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 36E be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 36E be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 36E be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 36E be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 36F.
Mover.
Chair, I move that the new clause 36F be read a second time. Justification is as indicated earlier under proposed clause 36A. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 36F be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 36F be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 36F be part of the bill. I put the question that new clause 36F be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 37A.
Mover.
Chair, I move that the new clause 37A be read a second time. Justification to this is also as read earlier under proposed clause 36A. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 37A be now read a second time. Oundo.
Clause 37A, new one, is to provide for instances where Parliament will extend the period of doing anything that was required for under the Act for circumstances beyond its control or other emerging issues. So the justification the chair has given is completely misplaced and wrong, but as we said, we'll indulge him. He's a first timer and he has done a wonderful job so far today. So as a teacher, I will forgive you for the mistake. Thank you. I support, Honorable Chair.
I therefore put the question that new clause 37A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that new clause 37A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 37A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as that have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 76.
Mover.
I beg to move that the Public Finance Management Act is amended by inserting the following new sections immediately after section 87. As per the order paper, Madam Speaker.
I propose a question that the new clause 76 be now read a second time. I put the question that new clause 76 be now read a second time. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, propose the question that new clause 76 be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 76 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedules. First schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be part of the bill. Proposed amendment by the chair.
Chair, I propose that the first schedule of the bill be amended as per the order paper. Justification is that the proposed amendment provides for the co-option of persons with expertise to provide valuable advice to the board. Thank you.
I propose the question that the schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that the schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the schedule as amended be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be the schedule of the bill. I now put the question that the second schedule be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Third schedule.
I propose the question that the third schedule be the schedule of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that the schedule of the bill be amended as per the order paper. Justification is the proposed amendments are consequential amendments arising out of deletion of the provisions on the Privatization Appeals Board. Thank you.
Very well. I now propose a question that the third schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that the third schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the third schedule as amended be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I also beg to move an amendment to clause 2 as per the order paper. Justification, the amendments to the definition, Cabinet Secretary seeks to provide clarity to the definition and alignment to drafting practice. The second proposed amendment seeks to delete the definition appeals board as a consequence of the proposed amendment of the clause 51 and deletion of clauses 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58, providing for, among others, the establishment, composition, and conduct of Privatization Appeals Board. The third proposed amendment seeks to provide for the definition, divestiture to aid interpretation and provide clarity. Clause 9F of the bill uses the word divestiture. Thank you.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Oundo.
Chair, in their wisdom, and probably need to seek some amount of thinking with the majority leader, is the issue, I addressed the issue when we were debating or on clause 21, the issue of the definition of national security interests. We need it to be, I thought could have been right to seek clarity and have it defined under clause 2, unless the technical team can tell us the provisions of the Constitution are adequate to lead clarity on this particular matter. Otherwise, it will be so wide, so amorphous, to an extent that it might even stall any privatization process by a litigious busybody perpetually going to court arguing that, for example, pipeline is a national security interest. I mean, it's just my thinking. It leaves to you your wisdom to decide.
Chair.
Chair, I think the Constitution of Kenya has given clarity to matters national security up to the order of priority in terms of any decision that has to be undertaken. Thank you.
Allow me then to put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 is amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We have come to the end of the committee. Move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the privatization bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the privatization bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Stop shouting, we are too few.